Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. So, before we dive into today's episode, which is breaking down the premiere of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 14, first episode, Grace Time is over. So, before we break everything down and I give you guys my predictions for the season, how I feel about each lady, Dorit versus Kyle, where does Erika stand? What about the new girl, Bozoma, and more, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, here we go. Sorry, guys, I had to cough a little bit, so I'm going to pop in a cough drop, and then we'll get started. All right. So let's first break down the big question of the season. Kyle versus Dorit. Whose side are you on? Okay. So for me, I think that there are two separate conversations going on regarding the fight between Kyle and Dorit. I think the first conversation is Dorit and Kyle, their specific fight. They're beefing, obviously they're feuding, and it does not look like it's going to get better anytime soon. Kyle is out here on Amazon Line shading the hell out of Dorit. Dorit is on Watch What Happens Live, shading the hell out of Kyle. So that feud is still going on, but I think the two conversations are one, Dorit versus Kyle, the actual fight that they're having, and then two, the historical beef that people have with Kyle versus the historical beef that people have with Dorit. So what I mean by this is I think that the cast, except for Bozoma, and I think Erika Jayne is going to obviously play the fence between Kyle and Dorit, but I think like the cast is going to be team Kyle, whereas I think the audience is going to be team Dorit, but not because of the fight that these two women are actually having, but because I think the audience is ready for Kyle to get some get back. Kyle has always been a producer favorite. She's always stirred the pot. She's always in everybody else's business, but doesn't want anybody in her business. She always plays the victim. She's always crying and denying. So I think that the collective audience is going to be on Dorit's side because they just are ready for Kyle to get some karma. Whereas I think the women on the show don't really like Dorit. You know, Dorit and Garcelle have had a big beef. Dorit and Sutton have a big beef. You know, Jennifer is clearly going to side with Sutton and Garcelle. Erika's going to play the fence between her and Kyle. Her and Kyle are obviously beefing. And then that sort of leaves Bozoma, the new girl, who doesn't have that historical dislike and beef with Dorit. So I think we're going to see that the cast is going to be Team Kyle. Not because they necessarily like Kyle more, but I think that they don't take Kyle as serious. You know, like I don't think that they take Kyle seriously at all. She's kind of like a joke to them, like, okay, Kyle, like pipe down, calm down. Whereas I think that there's more of a dislike of Dorit when it comes to the cast members, especially with Garcelle. And Sutton's going to ride hard for Garcelle. So I think it'll be interesting to see the season play on how that evolves. And my big question is, I wonder if the audience will change. I wonder if we as the audience will change to be Team Kyle. Like I personally, between these two women, I'm actually Team Kyle. And I'm going to tell you why. Only thinking about their beef, because they're talking about, oh, you know, BravoCon, you know, Dorit being like, I don't know who my favorite Kyle or my favorite, you know, Richard sister is, and my favorite Hilton sister is, you know, her taking Kathy's side at the reunion, this, that, and the third. Then obviously Kyle going on Amazon Line being like, I don't really know Dorit like that. We actually weren't that close. This friendship is a whole exaggeration, this, that, and the third, right? But Dorit also revealing Kyle's text at the reunion, I thought that was shady as hell. I thought that Dorit was actually the one being the manipulator. I think Kyle sent her the text being like, look, The reunion's coming up. We have not been honest about stuff going on in our friendship. So I'm just checking in to make sure you're still not saying anything because I don't plan to say anything. But Ding Dong Dorit, she needed something. She needed some type of relevancy. She needed some type of tea to bring to the reunion because she doesn't have a storyline. Nobody cares about the fake PTSD. Nobody cares about the fake robberies, allegedly. Nobody really cares. It's not that serious and nobody believes you. Dorit has no storyline and literally nothing going on. Okay. And so she exposes Kyle's private text messages and then expects all of us to think Kyle is the manipulator in this one. No, it's called gaslighting. So I think that I'm also Team Kyle because at the core of it, I think that Dorit never liked Kyle. I think she only pretended to be her friend. I think she only pretended to like her because she wanted cover for the show. She wanted an ally on the show. She wanted to keep that Bravo check. She wanted to be a part of the Faux Fox 5. And we all know Kyle already. You have to be a yes person to Kyle, you know? Which is why she has like her Teddy Mellencamp. She has her Erikas. You know, she has the people who are yes people to her. The difference is, I think Teddy actually likes Kyle. Like, I think Teddy and Kyle are actually friends, which is very different because I don't think Dorit ever liked Kyle. So the reason why I don't respect Dorit in this situation is, yeah, you're coming hard for Kyle. Like, you know, I'm tired of your crap and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, you punish people. Da, 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 da. Dorit, shut up. You never liked her in the beginning and you just used her. Now, I'm not saying Kyle is an angel. I'm not saying Kyle doesn't manipulate. I'm not saying Kyle doesn't play the fence. I'm not saying Kyle doesn't stir the pot. I'm not saying Kyle hasn't done her fair share of dirt. But Dorit, stop acting like you feel so betrayed. Stop acting like you feel so used when you never liked Kyle to begin with. In my opinion and my gut, I think that Lisa Rinna, Erika Jayne, and Dorit would all get together and talk about Kyle like a dog. I don't think they respected her. I think they just used her. Now, Kyle, of course, has done her own dirt, stuff with LVP, stuff with her sister. She does tend to, you know, if you don't sort of baby her, you know, she will kind of ice you out and kind of give you the cold shoulder. Yeah, she does. But at least Kyle is Kyle. And like, you know where you stand with her. Like, you know what the deal is. She's not that serious, you know? So for Dorit to act like she's so heartbroken over this friendship, I'm like, you never liked her to start from jump. So I would respect Dorit if she was just like, yeah, you know what? I used you for cover on the show. I used you for a Bravo paycheck and fame. And now that I no longer have to pretend to be your friend, I'm going to tell you how I really feel about you. Because that's what I think is really going on here. The level of anger and resentment and vitriol and hatred and animosity that Dorit has towards Kyle, I don't think has anything to do with an Amazon Live. I don't think it has anything to do with a Bravo Con. None of that crap excuses. I think it's rooted in the fact that Dorit has never liked Kyle from jump. I think she resented the fact that she had to be her yes person. And I think that she thinks she's better than Kyle. I think she thinks she's hotter than Kyle. She's cooler than Kyle. She's chicer than Kyle. And I think it has eaten Dorit up that she has had to placate to Kyle in order to keep her spot on the show. But now those dynamics have shifted. You know, the producers are like, you guys have to talk about your real lives. You know, Kyle no longer has that cover she used to have with the producers because now everybody's like, everybody can get it. The dynamics and the power structures have shifted and everybody was put on notice about their diamonds. You know, that has kind of happened across the board with Bravo and the Housewives. Everyone's been put on notice, right? So I think that once those power dynamics shifted and Dorit was like, oh, wait a minute, you know, Kyle no longer has the power to give me cover on the show to protect my diamond. Well, now I can really tell this chick how I feel about her. It's like if you've ever been in a friendship with someone, particularly female friendships, where the littlest thing happens and someone who you thought was your friend just goes off on you, and they tell you about yourself, and they tell you every little thing that you've ever done in this world that has ever irritated them. They throw every single thing you ever confided in your face, and they act like you're this horrible person. It's not you. It's the fact that they have been holding on to resentment and usually jealousy and bitterness towards you. And just because it's mad day, they can't hold it in anymore. And that is what I think is going on between Kyle and Dorit. That is what I think Dorit's real anger is stemming from. So in that situation, I'm actually team Kyle when it comes to Kyle and Dorit because of that. Dorit, just be honest, just be like, you know what, Kyle? I never really liked you. I never really rocked with you. I don't think you're that cool. I used you for cover on the show, and now it is what it is. And I'm just going to keep it 100, and I'm going to tell you about yourself. Because I think that the audience wants Kyle to get her get back from a historic standpoint. But I think the actual fight between Kyle and Dorit, I'm on Kyle's side. That's not to say that I think Kyle is an angel, because I don't think she is. I do think that Kyle was being very immature the way she is. You know, you take Kathy's side in something, you're not a yes person to her. She does punish you. She does ice you out, but that's who Kyle is. And I think the rest of the women just don't take her that seriously, you know? So that's kind of how I feel about, you know, whose side are you on when it comes to Dorit versus Kyle. Now, let's talk about the women in episode 1 and the rest of the season, okay? All right. So when it comes to, let's talk about Garcelle. I'm excited for Garcelle this season. I'm excited because I think we're going to see her more as Garcelle the woman, which I think will be cool. I hope we see her more hanging out with friends and dipping it and doing it. I don't think that her younger sons are going to film anymore, which I think is for the better. I think she's going to still come with the fashion. I think she's going to come with like her presence. We all know that she is a boss babe right now. She's producing movies and TV shows, and she's acting, and she's doing all the great stuff. So I'm here for Garcelle. I think it's going to be good. I'm kind of disappointed because I think Erika said that none of the ladies are dating this season. That's kind of disappointing. Like, I would love to see Sutton date, but like real dates, not like guys she got to like paid actors dating, like not the fake dates, but like actual dates. I would love to see Garcelle dating. I think that would be really cool. But I'm excited to see more of Garcelle as Garcelle the woman, not so much just Garcelle the mom and talking to her kids all the time. So I'm excited for that. More to come. I also love how Garcelle stuck it to Kyle when Kyle was trying to talk about her and Morgan Wade. And she's like, oh, you know, it's the media. It's the media that caused me to question my sexuality. And I can't even say her name, you know, she who shall not. Like, Kyle, shut up. Kyle, stop. And I love how Garcelle was like, well, you know, the music video didn't help. And, you know, why can't we talk about Morgan? She's literally been on the show. So what I think is going on with Kyle and Morgan, it's more of, I think Kyle is trying to do damage control with their PR relationship and sort of like clean it up and put a bow on it, you know? Like, oh, I'm not going to say her name. We are not together. It is what it is. Let's move on. I'm going to cry about it and talk about my kids, so you can't really question me on anything. I said it before, I'll say it again. I never believed the Kyle and Morgan relationship. I think it was just nothing but a PR stunt. I think Kyle was going through it. I think she wanted Mauricio's attention. And I think that Morgan and her team wanted Morgan to have more clicks and views, social media followers. You know, look at Morgan now. She's going on tour with like Alanis Morissette. She's a household name. I don't know if any of that would have really happened for her without being attached to Kyle. They tried to end their PR relationship last year after the reunion. But like I said, I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in conspiracy. So when the reunion came and all of a sudden, you know, Morgan's deleting photos of Kyle. Kyle is on Jeff Lewis being like, I don't really know her like that. Everyone's like calling BS on this situation. Then all of a sudden they're going on safari. They're being seen together. It's all just a bunch of BS. Also, Kyle, you called the paparazzi on you and Morgan. Like, how else did they know where you were? You called Backgrid. So blaming the media, blaming, anybody other than yourself for the shit show and the fake and stale and boring and played out storyline of you and Morgan is just you. I get it. You're trying to, do damage control and button up the story, which quite frankly, I'm fine with, because I do think that the Morgan Kyle storyline is played out and it's tired. And I do think it was fake. I think Morgan didn't like Kyle either. Just like Dorit never liked Kyle. I don't think Morgan liked Kyle. She called her a stalker. They always look very awkward together. And now Kyle can't even say her name. Like, is this a legal thing? Is Morgan gonna sue Bravo? Is Morgan gonna sue Kyle if she says her name on camera? Like, what is really going on behind the scenes? Like, what's really going on in that situation where last season Morgan is on the show and this season Kyle won't even say her name on the show? Is legal involved? Is Morgan scared? Like, blink twice, Morgan. Like, what is going on? Anyway, I'm happy that storyline is dead and over. It was played anyway. But I'm excited for Garcelle. She's always a vibe. Her and Sutton and Jennifer Tilly are such a vibe. Okay. Now let's talk about Kyle a little bit more. Okay. Now we talked about Kyle and the whole Dorit thing. Like I said before, I think the women on the show are going to side with Kyle, but I also think it's still going to be, as we've seen, the Kyle takedown season. I think they're going to come for her. They're going to want her to, be more honest, be more open, don't be the pot stirrer. I think she's going to have a very difficult season of being held accountable. But I think ultimately, the majority of the women are going to side with Kyle when it comes to Kyle versus Dorit. Because like I said before, there are two separate conversations and fights going on. One is Kyle versus Dorit, and the other one is historically the beef with Kyle, historically the beef with Dorit, if that makes sense, but it's all getting clumped into one. So that's what I think is going to happen with them. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Oh, also with Kyle and Dorit, I think another reason why they're beefing so hard is I do think that Lisa Rinna is in both of their ears. I said it before, I'll say it again. Even though Lisa Rinna is not on the show, her demonic spirit is still hovering around. I think that when Kyle texted Dorit and said, I know I've heard you said some stuff about me, I'm not going to say who said it, I would bet my bottom dollar that Lisa Rinna went to Kyle and was like, yo, Dorit said this, this, and this about you. She's really not your friend. Then she went to Dorit and said, we never liked Kyle. We created the show. We're the show. Kyle's just coasting, blah, 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 blah. She said this and this and this about you. Because the whole, Kyle's a manipulator. She's calculated. She's more manipulating than I ever thought. I don't think Ding Dong Dorit came to that conclusion on her own. I think Lisa Rinna told her that, and that is what she is now repeating. That's just my gut feeling on how I think this goes down, because that has always been the dynamics. And they even talked about how it was either on the after show or in the actual episode, but they talked about how, I think it was the after show, how Lisa Rinna and Dorit and Erika and Kyle still all hang out. And it just smells of Lisa Rinna planting these seeds, because I think Lisa is very bitter and angry and resentful. I think she feels that she was the one who stirred the pot. She was the one who brought the drama. Her whole take down Kathy Hilton plan blew up in her face, and she was the one who ended up getting fired. And same with Dorit. I don't think she ever liked Kyle. Now, again, I'm not saying Kyle is perfect. Kyle has done her fair share of dirt and her fair share of stuff, but Kyle is so unserious. It's not even, it's like a joke. Kyle's so unserious. She's going to cry in the corner, run around the house. It is what it is, so immature. But I do think that I don't think they really ever liked Kyle. They just used her. They used her because she was protected by the producers. They used her because they knew that if they sucked up to her and they were on her side, they could keep their diamond and keep their check, And I don't think they ever really liked her. So I think that Lisa feels like, I don't know. I think she's pissed that Kyle is still on the show. I think she's pissed Dorit is still on the show. I think she's pissed Erika is still on the show. She's not admitting it, but I think deep down she's angry and she's pissed, and this is her way of blowing stuff up. Let me know what you guys think about that. So that's kind of how I feel on it. Now, let's talk about Ding Dong Dorit. Okay, when it comes to Ding Dong Dorit and her alleged separation, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. What I mean by that is I don't think this is a normal, authentic, legitimate separation between two people who are married and they decide that they no longer are in love and they want to go their separate ways. I'm calling BS on this situation. Number one, Dorit is just too calm, too cool, too collected, talking about separating from PK. They have 2 kids. They've been together for a decade. Like, she's too cool, too calm, too collected, talking about her separation for it to be legitimate. She had 0 reaction, 0 emotion. She's saying it was PK's idea. I don't care. Even if you are over it, even if you've had enough, you had some level of emotional reaction to talking about separating from your husband and the father of your children if it's legit. Like, Erika Jayne had more of an authentic emotional reaction to the news of their separation than Dorit did. I think this is just a scheme. I think that there's something financial, something fraudulent, maybe some type of lawsuit that might be coming PK's way, and they're trying to get ahead of it. We've seen this happen with, Erika Jayne Girardi and Tom Girardi. The moment they realized, oh, he's actually going to be indicted. He's actually, like, he can't get out of these lawsuits. Then all of a sudden, Erika's like, Tom was cheating on me 20 years ago and he's so mean to me. And now I want to get separated because he's so awful. And everyone was like, really? Or are you separating because you want to hide assets and hide money and not be implicated in his fraud? We've seen this happen multiple times where they know something is coming. Some type of lawsuit, some type of investigation, some type of something is coming. And so in order to protect assets, protect the wife, they do this sort of fake separation. And they sort of wait and see what's going to play out, whether or not they get legally divorced, trying to protect stuff. And in my gut, that's what I think is going on here. With the bankruptcies, with the alleged fraud that they were running away from London with the banks and with owing really rich people, I'll just say alleged, but just Google all of the stuff that's happened with them, with the gambling debts, that's a huge thing too. Getting involved with gamblers and casinos and owing millions and millions of dollars, with the alleged home invasion robberies that were allegedly insurance scams. That's been a big story. Garcelle brought it to the show, questioning the validity of it. Maybe that is something coming their way. Is there an FBI investigation? Is there some other type of investigation? So there's a lot going on with them from a financial and alleged fraud standpoint, where maybe this separation is them trying to get ahead of something. Because she was just too cool, calm, and collected, no F's giving. And also their stories were too clean. They didn't make sense, and I'm going to break down why it didn't make sense, but they were too clean. She was like, oh, he's a full-blown alcoholic, and it got too toxic, and blah, blah, blah. So we sat down like mature adults, and now we're going to get separated. And then PK's a much better actor than Dorit is, because at least he was trying to muster some emotion. But I think the emotion was more probably about his financial problems than actually separating from Ding Dong Dorit. But, he's like, oh, this is going to be tough, blah, 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 blah. It just seemed very rehearsed. And it seemed like they got together and decided this is the narrative we're going to give for why we're getting separated. It just seemed too clean. And she had no emotion. Also, the stories didn't make any sense. She's like, oh, he's a full-blown alcoholic and we have these raging fights and it's so toxic. He said to Mauricio, I got sober, and once I got sober, I realized I didn't want to be with her because she doesn't listen to me. So I'm confused. He gets sober and no longer wants to be with her, or is it he's a raging alcoholic and she can't take the fighting anymore? I'm confused. So he gets sober and decides it's over? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then she tried to explain it on the after show, because they were like, oh, at the reunion, you said you and PK were doing better than ever. And she's like, oh, we were. He got sober for 4 months and it was great. And then something really small happened and we got in a fight and then we sat down and they decided to separate. What? So he is sober, has a sober companion or coach, and he's going to AA and he's getting his life together. And because he's sober, he wants a divorce. But you're saying he's a full-blown alcoholic and that's why you wanted to, like, doesn't make any sense. Does not make any sense. Now, I know that they were, living separate lives. He's living in hotels and, going off to London and doing all of that stuff. I think that's just sort of business as usual for them. They probably have some sort of understanding, whether he dips out or she dips out or whatever the case may be. I honestly don't even think that's enough for them to get separated. I think it's more of a financial fraud, alleged fraud again situation going on here. He even said, she's always been my Bonnie to my Clyde. That is a criminal couple. Why would you say Bonnie to Clyde? Sorry, you guys, I have a cough drop, so I don't mean to swallow, but just make sure I don't cough on you guys. So why would you say that? Is it a Freudian slip? Are you trying to tell us something? You know what I mean? So I think the real reason why they're separating has to do with money, has to do with finances, has to do with some type of fraud, lawsuit, or something. But this whole drinking, not drinking nonsense doesn't make any sense. They also said they're not going to tell their kids anything. We've heard this before too. Over in Potomac, the new girl, Ashley, she's getting divorced. We're not telling our daughter till we have everything figured out. Remember, Juan and Robin didn't tell their kids that they were legally divorced, and the boys had to find out on Google. I don't know what's going on with people not communicating with their children, but children are not stupid. They know what's going on. So either they're not telling their kids because they just don't have those communication skills as parents, and I think that's the wrong choice. I think you should be honest with your children. Or the separation isn't real, and they're just going to play out whatever legal or financial stuff they have going on. And then if they don't have to actually separate or divorce, they just won't say anything to the kids, and they'll keep writing it out. You know what I mean? Another reason why I'm not buying the reason for their separation is, as we know now, their home is in pre-foreclosure. They missed at least 4 months of payment. So while they're filming, while they're out here dipping it and doing it, acting like they have all this money, they're not paying their mortgage because it's at least 4 months behind. There's now legal documents out there, which is why we know. Which means while they are actually filming, at least 4 months ago, they weren't paying their mortgage. So you're in this house filming, reading Vogue magazine, acting like you're so rich, talking about all the stuff you have on, designer from head to toe, and you're not paying your mortgage? You're about to be kicked out of your house, but you're filming a reality show? These grifters and these crooks, it is literally insane. So again, that's why I think that there's way more to their, quote, separation than just, he's annoying, she's annoying, he drinks too much, she doesn't listen. You're literally filming a reality TV show. You're shooting in a house that you're not paying the mortgage for, and now you're about to be foreclosed on. He's living in one of the Beverly Hills, hotels, which is super expensive. Who's paying that bill? So you can pay for a hotel bill, but you can't pay for the mortgage in the house that your children live in? What is really going on here? Who knows if he's even paying the hotel bill? Why are you paying a hotel bill, but you're not paying the mortgage for the house your kids live in? What's going on? So I think there's something else going on with Dorit and PK that has nothing to do with this whole drinking separation nonsense. I think it's all smoke and mirrors. I think it's another scheme. I think it's another grift. I don't buy their stuff for 1 second. Pay your bills, pay your mortgage so you don't get kicked out of your house. Very weird, very shady. So who knows what the hell's going on with that? Who knows? Dorit smoking on camera, everybody's like, oh, this is amazing. Like, I love Dorit. She's so cool. She's smoking on camera. Like, I don't know, you guys, but like, I didn't think that was cool. Maybe I'm a prude. Maybe I'm a prude person, but I didn't think smoking on camera was like the coolest thing. I was just like, okay, I think now we're seeing the real Dorit. I think this is who Dorit really is. I think she's very nasty. I think she's cold. And I think she's mean. And I think this is the real Dorit. You know, she was aggressive with Kyle. She has been really mean. She has been really nasty. She's been very nasty to Garcelle. Very dismissive, very condescending. And I think we're finally getting the real Dorit. And I think she's a really nasty person. I do. And I think we're going to see more of that. And I think the only ally she's going to have on the show is, I think she'll have Erika, because I think Erika is just going to ride the fence between her and Kyle. I don't think she's going to pick a side. I think she's going to play the mediator. But when it comes to that, I think Erika doesn't take Kyle seriously. And I think that Erika genuinely likes Dorit as a friend. And so she's just kind of playing both sides, if that makes sense. I think that Dorit will have Bozoma, and that's pretty much it. I think the girls on their show are going to side with Kyle. I think the audience is going to side with Dorit. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that plays out for the rest of the season. Let's talk about Bozoma since I brought her up. Now, with Bozoma, I think time will tell. Okay? Time will tell with her because I like her, but I have a feeling she's going to be a little flat. Like, I feel like she's going to be like Raquel in The Real Housewives of New York, where she's cool, she has a great, interesting backstory, but she's kind of flat. Like you like her, she's cool, she's interesting, but there's something missing. There's some type of oomph there. There's some type of personality. There's something missing. I also think that I'm also not 100% in love with how up Dorit butt Bozoma is. Like, I don't know if you guys watched the after show, but it was a little cringe. She's a little pick-me. She's a little pick-me-sha in her relationship with Dorit. Like, watch the after show. It's a little bizarre. She's like really, really up Dorit's butt, and I'm really confused as to why, but whatever. I think she's intimidated by Garcelle, and I just hope that I hope that they're able to have a good relationship, but I think that Bozoma is intimidated by Garcelle. And women who are accomplished and beautiful and amazing, they can still be intimidated by people. I like Bozoma, but I feel like she's going to be a little flat. I think she's going to be a little bit too pick-me with Dorit, and we'll see. But, you know, hopefully I'm wrong. I hope she proves me wrong. I hope she comes out with more of her own personality. And I hope that she is able to form her own authentic relationships with the women. It seems like they're saying Sutton, like she's coming on the show by way of Sutton, but it seemed like Sutton, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, it just seemed like Sutton left her to just fend for herself. And then she kind of disses Sutton. You know, Sutton's looks at the surreal party, you know, she's kind of kikiing with Dorit about everything. So we'll see. You know, Bozoma and Dorit are the ones who are paired together for the after show, which is very, very telling. So I hope she proves me wrong. I hope Bozoma, because I like her. By no means do I not like her. I do like her. But I just hope she comes with a little bit more oomph, a little bit more pizzazz, and not just in the confessionals. Not just the confessional warrior, but like in the scene, in the moment with the women. I hope she brings it a little bit more. So time will tell. It was her first episode. We only saw her for a couple of minutes. So time will tell. I just hope that she doesn't just sort of drink Dorit's Kool-Aid and doesn't form friendships with other women and doesn't really come fully with her own personality, if that makes sense. Because right now she's kind of giving Rebecca Minkoff, Raquel vibes from New York, where it's like super cool person, super interesting backstory, but some oomph is missing, if that makes sense. So jury's still out on Bozoma. I hope she comes and I hope she brings it because I do like her. Erika. You know what crossed my mind, and I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think Erika, on the sly tip, turned state's evidence to the FBI on Tom Girardi? I kind of feel Erika secretly worked with the FBI. I don't know why this thought came to me, but there's a part of me that thinks that after everything went down, after he was arrested and everybody else was arrested and indicted, I kind of feel she turned state's evidence and that's why they're not going to go after her. I think that's kind of what I think. I think she turned in information on other Tom's goons and other corrupt lawyers and other corrupt people as sort of a get out of jail free card. That's just kind of what popped in my head. Now, that aside, because I want to compartmentalize, Tom Girardi and his fraud and all that stuff, I'm enjoying Erika. I know. I'm actually enjoying her. I think she's being very diplomatic when it comes between Kyle and Dorit. I think it's going to be really fun watching her and Garcelle and her and Sutton's friendship. I think that's going to be really, really fun. I do think that she's going to not be as close to Dorit, not because of what's going on with her and Kyle, but because I think she's going to get closer to Garcelle. And like I was saying before, the women on the show are not Team Dorit, not so much because of Kyle, but because they never really rocked with Dorit like that. And so I think that Garcelle and Dorit will not reconcile. And I think that Erika prefers Garcelle over Dorit. And I think we'll see that interesting dynamic. So I think that'll play out. But I am enjoying Erika, even though I still don't like what she did with the victims and everything. But I'm going to compartmentalize everything. I do think in my gut she turned some type of state's evidence over. I think at the end of the day, she secretly worked with the FBI. And that's why she was never indicted. That's just my gut feeling. But I think it'll be interesting to see how that plays out the rest of the season with her. One thing I'm going to need Erika to stop doing, though, so I can keep liking her in suspended reality, I'm going to need Erika to stop acting like she's poor, to stop acting like she's so destitute. Oh, I'm looking for this decor for my new house. It's so small, I had to downsize. You've seen it. It's just 1 bedroom, a living room, and 5 of my closets. Like, Erika, shut the hell up. You know what I mean? Like, some people have real problems. You still live in a multi-million-dollar mansion in Los Angeles. You're fine. You still drive, luxury cars. You still have millions of dollars of jewelry, millions of dollars of clothes and bags and artwork and everything else in the world. You got a spin-off. You're on a TV show. Like, shut the hell up, Erika. Nobody's buying your woe pours me act. And quite frankly, it's disrespectful given the state of the world that we are in. There are people who are literally have no home, have no electricity, have no food. Some people have real problems. And so, Erika, if I'm going to keep liking you, I need you to shut the hell up about it and just like do you and have fun with the girls. But this whole I'm building myself back up from the ground and I'm so destitute, blah, like, just shut up. Shut up. Like, pipe down, be quiet. Let me suspend reality. Let me compartmentalize how evil you've been when it comes to the victims so I can enjoy you on this TV show. But if you keep acting like a victim, if you keep acting like somebody did something to you, if you keep acting like the life you live somehow is a downgrade, I don't care how big your mansion with Tom was. I don't care how much you had with Tom. Shut the hell up. Okay? Or else karma is going to really get you and you're going to really experience what it means to not have. So stop playing around. Okay? Erika. All right, let's talk about Kathy. And then we can talk about Sutton and Jennifer. I'm living for Kathy. I love that she took her extensions out at the party. I was 100% here for it. I was like, girl, take them out. They're probably itchy and hot. I love it. I love that Kathy so flawlessly still shades Dorit, and Dorit doesn't even get it. I also love that Kyle and Kathy are in a good place. It's nice. It's refreshing to see them, be there for each other. It's really nice to see them support each other and not fighting, So I'm happy. I'm happy Kathy's back. I think she's a complete vibe. I love that her and Kyle are getting along. I also love that she's not inserting herself between Kyle and Dorit, but she's still supporting her sister. I think that's a smart move. So I'm here for it. Sutton and Jennifer Tilly. You guys, Jennifer Tilly has so much money, it's not even funny. Like, I looked her up and I was like, girl, you're banking and rolling in it. Her ex-husband is one of the co-developers, co-producers of The Simpsons. That's right, The Simpsons, one of the longest running television shows ever in the world. And she still gets paid. Like, listen, if and when I get married, I somehow will find Sutton and Jennifer Tilly and be like, you better give me your lawyer's information so I can have the most bomb-ass prenup in the world. Because the amount of money that Jennifer gets, she gets 30% of everything her ex-husband makes off of The Simpsons, plus everything else she does. Her pro gambling stuff, her acting, her inheritance, because I do think she came from money as well. 30%? Are you effing kidding me? That's insane. That's amazing. That's stupid money, okay? Sutton also makes stupid money off of her divorce. So when I do get married, Sutton Strack, Jennifer Tilly, don't be scared when Candy Washington knocks at your door and says, hello, who are your lawyers for your prenup? I need them. Like, what? Jennifer Tilly has stupid money. Anyway, I'm living for the Jennifer and Sutton and Garcelle of it all. They're so much fun. They're such a hoot. And when I was watching the episode and I was looking at Sutton, I was like, you know what? This really is what the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is about. Other than the fact that nobody on the show has a man and it's the Real Housewives, like all of those chicks are single. None of them have a man. That's kind of sad, right? Anyway, other than the fact that all these chicks are single, that is what the Real Housewives is about. It's about kooky women who have stupid money just being ridiculous, drinking a bottle of vodka at 12 o'clock, out of Givenchy glasses and talking about going to Gucci and like going to like this and going to that and having a surrealist party and this, that, and the third. Like, that's what it should be about. And I do think production has stepped it up. I don't know if it's a new production team or what, but I feel like the production of Salt Lake City as well and New York, I would say all the housewives, except for Potomac, actually, I feel like all the production have stepped it up. It's more glitzy, it's slicker, it's clean, it's modern, it's luxury. And like, that's what it should be about. It should be about wacky, rich women being wacky and rich. And I am so here for it. Like Jennifer Tilly and her stupid money, I'm here for it. Garcelle, I am here for it. She's fun, she's fabulous. Like, I'm here for it because she's such a great contrast to Sutton that the two of them, not money-wise, because Garcelle has money too, obviously, but I just mean like their personalities, they work so well together. And then Sutton being stupid rich and just being like, I'm gonna go buy a horse online and I'm gonna go do this. Like, I am so here for it. It's fun, it's refreshing, it's aspirational, it's really cool. Love Sutton. I think she's great and she's gonna have a great season. And overall, I'm really excited and I'm really looking forward to this season. I think it's going to be really, really good. The Dorit versus Kyle of it all, the Dorit's new attitude, Sutton coming out. We'll see what happens with Bozoma, Kathy being cool. Garcelle is always a vibe. We'll see with Erika. Again, she's a little dicey. We'll see. But I would say for the first episode of the season, I loved it. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be really fun. Again, and I want to know what you guys think. For me, the biggest questions will be, I wonder if we as the audience, I mean, I personally am Team Kyle, but I mean the collective, because collectively it seems like people are Team Dorit. I wonder if that will change or shift. I wonder. Because I do think the biggest reason why people are Team Dorit is not because they like Dorit, but because there's been such a disdain for Kyle that I think the collective just wants Kyle to get some get back, if that makes sense. So as always, let me know what you guys think about this. Put it down below. Are you watching? Are you excited? Whose side are you on? You know, do you believe PK and Dorit in their separation? You know, what do you think about Kyle not even mentioning Morgan's name? I'm also looking forward to see the dynamic between Kyle and Mauricio. I didn't touch on that. I'm super interested in that. I think that they will ultimately get back together. I do. I don't think that they'll ever divorce. Maybe in like a year or so. We'll see. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing that dynamic. I think now that Kyle has had some time to calm down, I think now that she's had some therapy and maybe she's on a better path, I think she's realizing that she really didn't mean to blow up her marriage in her life. And I think she'll want Mauricio back. And I think the question will be, is it too late? Has he moved on? Is he really over the marriage? I think they ultimately will get back together, but I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's take some of your candy cane questions and comments. Oh, and I'll drop the link in case anybody wants to come up and hang out and chat. No pressure if not. Hey, Holly says Vio Kyle versus Dorito. Yep. Holly says, I don't like Kyle or Dorit. Oop. That's the thing, right? Like, that's the thing. It's like, I think the big fight, like I was saying before, it's not even that people like Dorit. It's just they really don't like Kyle, if that makes sense. But I think, like, for me, I actually think that Dorit is mean, whereas I think Kyle is just so unserious. Like, you can't take, like, she's like a doofball. You know what I mean? Hey, Marcus says, nah, you don't talk to someone for months and then text them even at the reunion. Kyle said she loved Dorit after she just said the way you weren't really friends. Kyle gaslights on the regular. Well, this is the thing. The issue isn't that she texted Dorit that I'm talking about. It's the context of the text. She basically said, hey, listen, I know we haven't been good. When at the reunion, I'm not going to bring it up because we haven't brought it up. Because I'm just making sure you're not either because there's a lot going on. Dorit had nothing for the reunion. She was beefing with Garcelle and everybody was Team Garcelle. She had nothing for the reunion, so she uses this to throw at Kyle, which I'm pretty sure Lisa Rinna told her to do. And my issue is this. Dorit had no problem not talking about it during the season. So why now all of a sudden is she acting like Kyle was trying to silence her at the reunion when she already agreed not to talk about it? Do you know what I mean? So it's like you can't be in on the scheme and then be mad because somebody is confirming that you're still in on the scheme. Because Dorit had all season to bring it up and she didn't. Kyle was just like, just making sure we're both on the same page. I'm not going to bring it up. You don't bring it up. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I'm like, Dorit, stop. It's a reach. Marcus says, but Kyle also used Dorit this whole time. She used Dorit as a minion until Rick got out of line so they can take it out, so they can take each other down. Don't like either one of them. Oop. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I do think that their friendship was mutually beneficial, right? So Kyle likes her minion. She likes her yes people. And Dorit also used Kyle for cover on the show, making sure she kept her diamond, her Bravo paycheck, her 15 minutes of fame. My issue is that my biggest issue with Dorit and why I'm actually Team Kyle when it comes to their particular fight is Dorit, stop acting like you actually give a damn about Kyle and your friendship, because you don't. Do you know what I mean? That's the core issue I have with Dorit. Stop acting like you're so hurt by Kyle. You're not. You don't like Kyle. You never did. You and Lisa Rinna and Erika Jane, in my humble opinion, y'all probably talk the most crap about Kyle in the world. None of y'all respect her. None of y'all actually like her. It's so obvious. You can see it when they give each other looks, when they say certain things. It's obvious. So stop acting like you're so distraught over this friendship when you never liked her to begin with. That's my issue with Dorit. Keep it 100. You want to come in hot and I'm done with this Kyle and you stop it. You used each other. So let it be what it is. Stop acting like this is such a thing. If it was Teddy Mellencamp, fine. Because I think Teddy actually likes Kyle. If they were beefing this hard and she was this distraught, I would believe that. But Dorit, you never liked Kyle. Stop acting like you feel so betrayed. Just be honest with it. That's the issue I really have with her. Hey, Jay, you want to share?
Hey everybody. Hey Candy.
Hey, Darren Hood. Hey, sweetheart. Okay, go, Jay.
I just wanted to say I really enjoyed the premiere. It was pretty fun. Um, I also like the newbie, Bozema. I think that's how I say her name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bozoma.
But she seems fun and pretty um down to earth. I mean, going with the vibe, the flow. But the thing for me, it might be an unpopular opinion, but for me, I think what it's missing in this franchise, Beverly Hills, is married women. Um,
Yes.
I would
Yes.
love, I would love to see like some fresh, new, some housewives that we don't know, or working behind the scenes with some rich husbands and just going to I don't know, outside of the US for some lunch, for some shopping, for like seeing a friend. And what's also for me is missing is a real friendship, like the Miami girls.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they don't like each other, or they are using each other for just like Gina and Emily with Heather. They're using Heather for the show, and what she can bring to them, or um, possibility. But I feel like they don't like each other, and we can see that. Like I'm not dumb. I can see they just don't like each other.
What do
And
you, what do you think about Garcelle and Sutton though? I think they really do like each other.
oh yeah, I forgot about them.
Yeah.
About Jennifer Tilly and Sutton and Garcelle. They're real friends, but Erica, Kyle, and Dorit, and I forgot someone. Yeah, I don't think they like each other. But
I agree.
overall,
I agree.
I like it. But for me, next season, I would love to have like a shake up. Maybe we can keep Bozema, or Jennifer Tilly, and the rest of the women will be new housewives, or
Mhm.
rich, old money, or nouveau riche. But yeah, that's for me. But I like it overall.
No, that was good. Those were great thoughts. Yeah.
Like I would
And
love to see like a Miami vibe, like a Dr.
Mhm.
Nicole, or you know um, something like that. But yeah.
100%. Thank you, Jay. Stay up if you want. Hey, classy lady, you want to share?
Hi. Um, I may be on an unpopular side of this, but I was actually here for, I like to call season 7 Dorit, um, because that was the Dorit that would go against Erica, would go against LVP who was not afraid of anybody and opened up her mouth, and that's what I saw between her and Kyle in this episode. And I personally felt like, you know, Kyle was, I wouldn't say gaslighting, but it was kind of like just nitpicking, like, oh, I didn't like it when you said this at BravoCon, when it obviously was just something very silly and simple. I mean, she kicked the little drink out of her hand anyway. And also, me being a divorcee, I really felt that scene with Dorit smoking in her car, because even though I don't smoke, it's just separation and divorce is so stressful and just so emotional and everything that I just understand her vibe right now. Like, it's like, what, I'm going through a lot of turmoil. She didn't want the separation. PK's one who wanted, she wanted to work it out, and he didn't want to. So it's like, okay, my man doesn't want me anymore. My friend is acting like this, such and such. I don't care about anybody else but me right now. I'm smoking in the car. I'm not even driving right. So I guess I am empathizing with the situation more so because it's at least it seems more real, or at least it's a more relatable situation. I like that. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. Another thing they call her Bose, but I don't know, is it Bozoma?
Yeah,
Um,
Bose. Hmm.
um, like I did like that they clicked off really well. I liked how Bose, was able to almost organically get into the group without, making it weird. Like she was able to just, first of all, she's already retired at 47, so we already know that she has money, and you know. Uh, I used to be affiliated with Netflix, and so the fact that she was able to, knowing her being in marketing, chief marketing officer at Netflix, and I think she said she also worked at Endeavor and William Morris, which are agencies. That's, I mean, she's very connected. So that makes her perfect for this scene, and I like that she's with Sutton. So it's like, Sutton's not gonna she's gonna tell her the truth. Um, so so at least she's aligned with a good crew, and it seems like she'll tell the truth. You know, and could where I think Anna Marie last year said that she felt like the producers kept telling her to do things and she just did whatever they told her to do, and she felt like she shouldn't have done that or something. And I feel like Bose is going to be a little bit more authentic, at least from this one episode. It seems to me. I do need for Garcelle to get a new stylist, though. I Her hair is fine. I just want her to get better clothes. That's all. She deserves it, and I think and she should get it. Jennifer Telly, I love every time she screams Sutton. I live for that Sutton. I love that. I love every time I see her. I'm just like, I if that's all she does all season long, I love that. Um, and with Kathy Hilton, I was really not feeling hey, if you're having a hot flash, you're having some issues with the hair, cool. But I would think you would go to excuse yourself to a restroom or ask Kyle, hey, can you let's go into a corner, put a let's do, just be more discreet about taking the hair out, and then just leave it on the chair. It was kind of ghetto to me. But it's just leave it on the side of the hair like that. But hey, hot flashes, they don't feel good. So sometimes like your comfortability is paramount. But I was living for when she was getting her glam done and had her lip mask and her eye masks on, and they were
Me too.
and her IV drip, and she was getting everything taken care of in her bedroom. So I that's the kind of stuff that, like, I think the other Jay was, oh, I think it was Jay who was saying live for is like, I want to see something out of it. I don't want to see people struggling. I want to see. I came here for a distraction. I came here for um to be entertained, and I want to see. I want to see opulence. I want to see, like you said, quirkiness.
Yes.
I want to see people with money. Um, I don't know. I want to say pulling weave out, but just sitting in their bedroom with
Yeah,
IVs and getting their hair and makeup done and discussing stuff, and like it's just any other day. I just want just like Barbie just has just something else. But that's how I feel about it so far. I don't know what Erica's story. I hope Erika has a storyline. Because I don't know if her story is just being the friend in the middle of things. Because that's gonna be kind of a little lame to me. But as long as she's not actively fighting with anybody, that will be a first this season if she's not fighting. So that's good, I think. And I unfortunately I am not Team Kyle. I know I'm not on the popular side of this. I kind of feel she's kind of has some narcissistic attitudes from because she victimizes herself a lot, and then shifts blame. There's a lot of word salad. Uh, I'm not feeling that with her. It I didn't like how she approached the conversation with Garcelle or with Dorit, trying to make herself the victim there. And when Garcelle was like, "Well, hey, you did make that music video, that didn't help too, so you just can't just blame the whole media. You played into this as well. You gotta take some accountability." So um I guess that's it. Sorry, I've been talking nonstop, but those were my feelings on the
no,
episode. It was good.
it was good. No, it was good. Um,
I'm kind.
I oh, go ahead, Jay, go ahead.
Oh, you can go. Oh, okay. I'm kind of. I agree. I agree with you, Cassie Lady, about Kyle. I think everything she did with the other housewife, for example, how she did LVP, and I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure she ran off other housewives. But she did LVP so dirty. I think that's a get back for everything she did and done to other people. So for me, I'm kind of here for it for Dorit to just get back at Kyle for everything she has done. And also, I just want Dorit and Kyle to be just honest about their marriage. Um, it's like, oh, you did. Um, it's like with everything in the blog and with PK with the lawsuits and the frauds and with Mercio also. It's like they're not honest about that. I just want them to be honest and just talk about either the cheating or the allegations. But yeah, just like Kyle always said, to be honest, but she's not honest at all.
Mm-mm.
She wanna say she wanna um to be in everybody else's business, but you know, not in her own.
Yeah, and so I agree because I think that both of your perspectives on Kyle versus Dorit is proves exactly what I was saying. I think that there's two separate things going on that's getting conflated into one. So it's the Kyle versus Dorit fight between Kyle and Dorit, but I think everybody is just Team Dorit because they want their get back at Kyle for everything Kyle has done in the past versus what has Kyle actually done to Dorit herself. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean by I think that this season, the girls on the show are going to be Team Kyle. Yes, I think they're going to hold Kyle accountable because they're tired of all of Kyle's narcissistic, very immature crap. But I think when it comes to Kyle versus Dorit, they're going to be Team Kyle. But I think the audience is going to be Team Dorit because they want their get back at Kyle. They want Kyle to get her karma for how she treated LVP and Carlton and Camille and her sister Kim and, you know, everybody else. So for me, when I think about the fight between Kyle and Dorit, between the two of them themselves, I'm team Kyle because I think Dorit is full of it. It's like, Dorit, stop it. You never liked Kyle. You used her for cover on the show. You talked about her like a dog to Lisa Rinna and to Erika Jane. So stop acting like you're so hurt by Kyle and the end of the friendship. Like, girl, bye. Just admit you never liked Kyle, and now you can actually be honest about it and be mean to her because you never really liked her. But I also am here for Kyle getting her comeuppance and her being held accountable by everybody on the cast for stirring the pot, for being nosy, for, you know, making everybody else own it and talk about it and be honest, but yet she's hiding stuff going on in her own life. So I think they're actually two different things that's being conflated into one. Hey, Mel, you want to share?
Hey, hi, Candy. I'm glad I caught you. I just came through the door and I was like, oh my gosh, I turned the computer on. I saw that you were reviewing this. I thought you usually review this later on in the day.
Yeah, I usually do later in the day, but thought I'd go a little earlier today for Beverly Hills. So go ahead and share. Sound off.
Well, you know, I saw this earlier when I was eating lunch, and what is my thoughts? You know, so with Kyle, I think that she, for me, I don't know. I feel like she's playing a familiar role again. Is the role she plays on the show for the past, oh my gosh, 14 years, is that she, in her life, she was the little sister, obviously, to Kathy and Kim. And she felt, you know, bullied by them or mistreated by them. And it seemed like in all her female relationships, she always plays the same role. You know, she doesn't really have a way to assert herself. I mean, mind you, she's messy. I mean, at least as a viewer, she's a messy lady. She can be mean and stuff like that. You know, I believe her true face is the one she showed Brandy when she first got there. Like that may be her true personality. But, you know, she always get in this place where as a viewer, I'm like, you mean to tell me you're breaking up a friendship that you value because of some gossip or something? I mean, pick up the phone. I never really, I don't know. I never really buy when she, I don't really buy her when she's saying that she's hurt by things, you know, except for her family and her husband. When it comes to the ladies on the show, I think that she's more hurtful. She's more hurtful to the other people, in my opinion. And she always plays that victim role. She plays that sort of, you know, even if she's younger or older than the people that she's upset with, she plays that little sister role where she's like, you know, you're picking on me and you're treating me badly. I'm like, you're a grown woman. And you know, and I guess with Dorit, you know, I definitely felt like she kind of treat her like a stepsister a little bit. You know, she, you know, it's not really the same. It's giving me Nene and Cynthia is what I should say. Basically, it's basically, you know, one person's been on the show for a very long time, and you know they could be controversial at times, and the other friend is like, you know what, you're a little domineering. You don't really you could be insensitive to my feelings at times, and I'm fed up, you know. And I get that from Dorit. Again, Dorit's not my favorite because of her interaction with Garcelle. So these two ladies are not my favorite in general. So, you know, but if I would choose between either one, I would definitely say that Cal is the playing the same role she always played. But you know, I was going to say this too. It's odd because this season, you know, Candy, this is what I'm kind of, you know, struck by. Sutton, you know, we're not naming it right now, but can we name her like the new queen of the show? Because if I look at this cast here,
She is.
She's friends with Garcelle. She's definitely friends with Miss Jennifer, who I love. You know, she's civil with Kathy, and the beautiful lady came in. She's, you know, has a connect. I did also Crystal from last year. She is so smart that she can have a conflict. She can have a disagreement with somebody. I think even in this episode, she said that she made amends with Kyle. So that's very smart. That's very smart that she's even and Erika. I forget about Erika. She it's very smart. I'm really impressed by how she's doing it after all these years. She was bullied, or not bullied, but she was definitely the one that they kind of, you know, kept prodding and attacking all that time. But at this point, she's got more friendships on the show now than even Kyle. It's kind of like, whoa, how did that flip? But yeah, she has a stronger position. She definitely has a stronger position with the whole cast, which I'm amazed by. It's wonderful.
I agree. I definitely think Sutton's the HBIC. Along with, Garcelle, it's such a vibe. So I agree. And I also think that's the reason why Dorit feels so emboldened to go after Kyle, is because Kyle no longer has the power she used to have.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that
So,
funny too? It's funny. So
Mhm.
we as viewers, I'm not sure if you thought that, but as viewers, a couple of years ago, it was the Fox 4 or I forget. It was Lisa
Well,
Rinna. There we go. And so they were running the show, Candy, at one point. They were running the show. But now Erika has been neutralized. She's kind of boring. She was not really that excited in this episode. And you
Mhm.
have the two remaining women who have, controversial ways. You got Kyle and Dorit. That's it. Everybody else is pretty much, it's not that meanness there that was a couple of years ago, which is kind of, it flipped the table on Kyle. I'm like, whoa, her power base is not on the show right now.
I think what happened was, with the whole Lisa Rinna, Kathy Hilton,
Mm-hmm. So,
Dark Days,
Mhm.
Diana Jenkins. I think once that really blew up and it got so dark and so toxic, and I think that was a turning point. And I also just think in general, Bravo with the Housewives and reality TV, but let's just say Bravo's and the Housewives. I think with social media, with the audience being savvy and smart and having our opinions and being able to collectively talk about things, I think the producers had no choice but to start holding these people accountable, being like, okay, well, you have to talk about your stuff. You have to bring things up. You're not just going to be protected anymore. After all of that stuff happened, look what they did with, Giselle and Potomac. She was definitely put on notice. She got knocked down from sitting next to Andy, not because the producers stopped liking her, but because the collective voiced our opinion about people who are acting like producer plants, producing the show, but not giving of themselves. And I think that everyone was put on notice. Lisa Rinna was fired. And I think they even said to Kyle, they were giving her an ultimatum, like, you're either honest about Morgan Wade on the show or you're not coming back or something like that. Like all
oh,
of
oh, oh, oh. Now, Miss Candy, that part got me. That the Morgan
right,
part. Oh my
that
gosh. So
part. So I
so
think
I
everybody
wasn't I was not ready. I forgot all about Miss Morgan. So when they brought her
exactly.
up, I
Yep.
said, "Oh," I said, they really talking about this? But then there was something that Kyle said that I found very concerning. She said, basically, I'm a lady who has had all my, my relationships and the heterosexual relationships, stuff like that. But I never thought about, a woman. But when the rumors came along, it got me thinking, is that possible? I'm thinking, Miss Kyle, that is, in my mind, that's not the way it works. It's not a rumor that's going to push you or, open you up to something that you're not born as. Basically, it's either there or it's not. Maybe you've had these kind of curiosities about Lace for a long time, if it's true. But I didn't buy the idea that she not turned, gay because of rumors. But I didn't like the way she said it. It was just a little weird.
Well, can I say something real
Yeah.
quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, I uh I agree with the fact that I don't think that Kyle's being transparent or about what's going on with her marriage and the whole relationship. At least, I mean, Dream PK are having issues, but at least PK, when he had that scene with Mauricio, he was like, "Hey, I got sober and realized I don't like my wife," basically, and it's like at least and that's like 10 times more than what Mauricio's ever said about anything. We just see what he does in public and infer what situation's going on, but they never tell us what's going on. You know, Dorit, when she was talking to Kathy about her feelings about PK, at least we were hearing something. If it was fake or
But
not, at least it was something. I want Kyle to tell us, stop beat around the bush and just say because like it seems way too convenient that before filming, now he moved out. 2 weeks before filming, he moved out. But he's been living there this whole entire time. But they have properties all over the place. He didn't have to stay there that all that time. But
But
it just
they put the same thing with PK and Dorit though. At the reunion, she's like, "Oh yeah, everything is great," and then literally the day before filming, they do a press release saying that they're breaking up. This is the thing. I think both Kyle and Dorit and Mauricio and PK, I think they're all lying. I don't think any of them are saying anything that is the core truth about what's going on in their marriage and in their finances. And
Oh,
you
okay.
know what I'm saying? Like, I
Mhm.
don't think any of them are being truthful. Like, Dorit did not have, she gave 0 F's talking about separating from her husband and the father of her children and saying it was his idea. And she had 0 reaction. I'm calling BS on that. I think something else is going on and they got together and this is a team and this is a scheme that Todd came up with. They're all liars and they're all tricksters. Because also, while they are filming, while we're watching them filming, they're not paying their mortgage. So PK is at the Beverly Hills Hotel paying a bill for the Beverly Hills Hotel room he's staying in, but he's not paying the mortgage in the house where his children lay their head. And you're telling me they're being honest about their situation on this show? It doesn't make any sense. I don't think any of them are being honest. I think they're all lying and they're all fronting. Dorit and Kyle.
Mhm.
Both not being serious. And
So can
my
you,
issue
yeah.
with Dorit is stop acting like you're so betrayed by Kyle when you never liked this woman to begin with. That's my core issue. I trust me, I'm not saying Kyle is an angel. She plays victim. She needs yes people around her. She stirs the pot. That like we get it. We know Kyle. We know who Kyle is. We all have the same grievances about Kyle. And we all want her to get her karma and her get back and be held accountable. We get it. But it coming from Dorit is a bit rich. Like
Well,
you didn't this
yeah.
chick. Stop acting like it.
Well, I was gonna say, you know what, Candy? Then you know what?
Mhm.
Now I'm gonna give the gold star to Garcelle because based on what you said about them lying, I didn't. Again, I watched it one time, and I mean, it did seem very convenient. All the four of them, Mauricio and PK and Dorit and all of them. It did seem like okay, something is not feeling authentic. So you know what? Real. Real Housewife divas. They do this trick that Garcelle did. She would so based on what you just said, I'm gonna give Garcelle the A+ for this episode because she was asking real questions, and then you notice that when she didn't get like back real answers, she played the game a little bit. She got up out the table, she started spinning around. I said, "Wait a minute, what's happening?" She, Cal was about to play the victim. She's like, "But wait a minute, you got to sit here and be a part of the storyline." Sutton and her got up, and when they
Mhm.
it's Sutton and her got up. So you know what? I think. I from the books and the blogs and stuff. Sometimes the housewives know when the other ones is lying. So instead of calling them out on the camera, they go, "You know what, girl? You want to do this? Okay, well, I'm gonna go spin. I'm gonna go over here. I'm not gonna sit here with these lies right now." And I think you may be on. I think that's what happened. Because I was wondering why did she spin? They were spinning around. I said, "What?"
Because they all were clearly lying. Hey, Freddie, you want to sound off, sweetheart?
Oh, yes. Hi, everyone. How are you? I'm in America like all of you now,
Oh
which is quite
my God.
funny. I'm in
Oh,
Miami.
welcome.
So, yeah, and I'm actually, when is it? Thursday, I'm seeing the Watch What Happens Live, Real Housewives of Miami, where I believe they are going to announce the new housewife there. And then I'm also there for the Fan Fest on Saturday before I go home. So,
Oh my
yeah,
God, have
exciting.
so much fun.
But Beverly Hills, I weirdly actually watched on TV rather than through a streamer, so that was weird. But
Congratulations.
yeah, so I mean that was cool. You've got way too many adverts though on American TV, I'm afraid. But
Yes, we do.
Yes, we
but
do.
but yeah, I think this episode, I think it started off pretty well. I think Dorit, although she was really good, she's been a lot more interesting than she has for like the last four. I still think she's lying. I mean, we know that she separated from PK last year, and she's realized that if she doesn't start confessing about what's really going on, then there's going to be no room for her on the show. And I think they just gave her an ultimatum before filming started and saying, look, if you
Yep.
don't step up, you won't be here. And so she's now going all about it. I felt it was weird, though, that she was telling the new housewife, Bozoma, about all her issues. When it was like, and how she's like, oh, we're really great friends. And it's like, I'm sure Bozoma's a lovely person. I liked her, but nobody thinks, oh, I'm best friends with you. I'm really close friends with you after 5 minutes. So I thought that was just a typical Dorito exaggeration. As for Sutton, I loved the whole surrealism theme. I thought that was incredible. I mean, what the heck was Dorit doing with the disc on her head? She really did not understand the theme whatsoever. I mean,
she looked more futuristic than surreal.
yeah, I mean, as Sutton said, she must have seen the wrong part of the art gallery or a different theme of surrealism. I was like, I mean, Erika as well. She was. She didn't really have much to say other than that she seems to just be the mediator between Kyle and Dorit at the moment. I think maybe that will probably be her storyline this season, as whilst this season was happening, there's not been anything significant about her legal drama. So yeah, I think that's going to be Erika's focus. Kathy was Kathy. I mean, I don't know why she put the hair extensions in the first place when those didn't work. Garcelle, I mean, to me, I think she's a bit overrated. What is she offering us? I just am not seeing it at the moment. She seems to just be more than happy to be shady, which I'm all for. But then you've got to sort of play along, and she doesn't really do that. I mean, Jennifer Tilly as well. I'm going to be interested to see how interesting she is. I still think it's weird that she was in Monsters Inc. and now she's on Housewives. But yeah, all in all, I thought it was a good first episode.
Me too. I thought it was strong, and I think it's going to be a really good season. I think it'll be interesting to see Dorit activated. I think it'll be interesting to see Kyle being held accountable.
Yes. And Kyle needs to understand sarcasm. I think Kyle has social issues, or she doesn't. She's so used to everything being on her terms. I mean, her saying that Dorit said that when Dorit said, "Oh, Kyle's the least favorite Hilton sister," it was evidently a joke. Now we saw the clip of the fact that Kyle accidentally spilled Dorit's drink down her dress. So she was like, yeah, well, now Kyle's the least favorite. But I think Kyle, she takes everything so literally. And I think because she's got such a victim mentality, she'll always try and find anything that's, if it's not positive about her, she will make herself out to be the victim. And I think this is what caused a lot of Mo's alleged cheating, quite frankly. He got fed up at the fact that he was having to tread around eggshells, and she wouldn't change her ways.
I think Mo is just, I think he just likes what he likes, I think he just wanted some strange, if you know what I mean. But I agree. I think when it comes to Kyle, I think that you're right. I don't think she's not in on the joke. She takes things so seriously and so literally, where it's like, just calm down. And the thing is, I don't think the other women take Kyle seriously. They kind of look at her as like a joke, where I think the audience kind of takes Kyle a little bit more seriously. And that's why we kind of want our pound of flesh from her. Whereas I think the other women are much more like, oh, okay, Kyle, you're being annoying. Like, you're doing the Kyle thing. Like, okay, Kyle. It's more like an eye roll. Like, oh, my little sister's annoying again. And that's why I think the ladies are, yes, they're going to hold Kyle accountable, but I think they're going to be more Team Kyle than they are Team Dorit. And we kind of already seen that playing out, especially on the after show.
But I think
after show.
No, I think they're never going to go the full distance on Kyle. I mean, even Sutton, who's been sort of the main person that's been going after Kyle up the last 2 to 3 series, she's backing off now. Because I think ultimately all these women know that Bravo and Evolution, the production company, very much view it as Kyle's show. And I believe what Crystal Kung-Minkoff said on her new podcast with Cynthia Bailey, and that when you're new, you were all sort of warned that this is Kyle's show and that will not change. So I think Sutton has sort of realized that if she wants to retain the job, she's got to sort of keep in line with Kyle now, which is why she's backing down and saying stuff like, oh, I was too hard on her last season and I missed her as a friend, and showing her clothes on online shopping sites that I think she'll like, and all of this. I just think it's complete rubbish. I think Sutton's trying to save her ass because she enjoys the fame, she enjoys the exposure that Beverly Hills gives her, and is worried about losing it.
Well, I want to make a point to that too. A couple of points that Mr. Fred was saying. I was going to say that I think it's smart actually, because I think that we've seen so many people that, whether it was the witch or whether it was Brandy at one point, or so many different people that Kyle has treated terribly. And no matter how the fans wanted those people to stay on and continue the storyline, they were gone, and we were just, baffled, like, well, what happened? That was a good storyline. Why did they end up, leaving? So I think that for me, and I want to add Garcelle to that too, because what I like about Garcelle is that in her confessionals and also with people that she trusts, she's really authentic, and it feels like, it's a Hollywood thing where you with somebody else and you fought with them for 5 years. At a certain point, you go, this is who they are, and I'm going to hold your hand, and when you're over here faking, and when you get too fake, I'm going to start twirling away. I think that I love that way she played that, because in the past she would have probably told them, I don't know if I believe this, like, what's going on? She would have went a little deeper. Then that would have been a whole, like that thing with Diana, it would have been the whole thing again. I'm like, you know what? Listen, just get your check, promote your businesses, promote your wonderful movies, and have a good friendship with Sutton. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I did see the preview where Sutton did say that she doesn't want to kiss the ring or something. So that may be what about. There will be some more, things going on. But I definitely, for me, I'm giving A's to Sutton and Garcelle and Cal. Since season 1, she's been that very sensitive. She positions herself in a way for the cameras, because she's an actress, to say, listen, I'm hurt here. You've hurt me with the most, basic thing. And I'm thinking, this is crazy. Even with Dorit, like right now, it's not that deep. The deepest thing is also, of course, her family and her relationship, and even that confusion with Morgan. That actually is interesting to me. But this thing with Dorit is not really. Oh no, it's not my thing.
I think the thing with Dorit and Kyle, I think it is more deep for Kyle, because I think Kyle actually thought she had a friendship with Dorit. Whereas I think Dorit never actually really liked Kyle.
But I don't think.
I don't think Kyle
lives
with anybody.
Well, because Kyle lives in her own world. Like that's what we've all been talking about, right? Kyle always plays the victim. I see you all through, not a yes person. So you have to look at it from their perspective, not from your observation of them. So I think from Kyle's perspective, she did think Dorit was her friend. And for Dorit to take Kathy's side and to not just blindly have her back, from Kyle's perspective, I'm not saying he's right or anything like that. I'm just saying from her perspective, she does feel betrayed, and it is such a big deal to her. Look at how she acts with her sisters. Look at how she acts with Erika. Look at everything that happened in Aspen. Like, that's just how Kyle is. So I do think from Kyle's perspective, and that's why I'm team Kyle when it comes to this, I do think she feels more betrayed by Dorit. And don't forget the Mauricio cheating allegations. They can say they're ridiculous if the cows come home, but you're going to feel some type of way when the entire world is questioning whether or not your friend is busting it open with your husband. So, and obviously I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in conspiracy. I don't think it's a coincidence that those rumors came out, and then all of a sudden Dorit and Kyle are beefing. All of a sudden, there's all these marriage issues. Obviously, I think there's so many other things going on, from alleged fraud to alleged cheating to not getting along to drink to this. Of course, there's a lot of stuff like that. But you can't tell me in female friendships that there's the question of, is my good friend having sex or wants to have sex with my husband? That's not going to affect the dynamic of your friendship. It is don't care how close you are. That is going to affect it. And I think that's the elephant in the room that they're failing to truly address, just dismissing it. Oh, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. I'm like, that does protest too much. Like something else is going on here, right?
Yeah,
And
I thought it was interesting how Dorit finally confessed about all the money issues and gambling debts, and that, you know, PK caused her all of this embarrassment, and now he sort of is giving up on her. I mean, it really seems that I think this has made Dorit very unhinged, because she saw herself as the prize for PK. And I think she's fed up at the fact that she more or less got conned by PK. He made her believe that he had all this money that he doesn't really have. And so, yeah, I think she's out with a vengeance. I personally think, though, with when it comes to Dorit and Kyle, I think it was very much a fake friendship. I think they were both using each other for different reasons. I think Kyle was using Dorit because Kyle's got emotional issues and is very insecure and needs sort of a gang, a group of people to defend her, and that's what happened with the fake 4-5.
100%.
So she used it for that. Dorit, because she got boring, she needed Kyle to basically stay in her job, because Andy seems to want to do anything, and this Alex Baskin guy at Evolution, they literally would marry Kyle and be her gay best friend. So that's why Dorit was close to her, so she could have a job. And let's be honest, PK's whatever salary he's on, which is probably not great because we all know about his money problems, Dorit's the main breadwinner, so she needs all the money that she can possibly get.
Exactly.
I was going to say something real quick. I was agreeing with y'all about that. I don't really think that they had a real friendship. It seemed like it was just more of an alliance, you know, especially when Rinna and Teddy was there. It was like they had this, it was like all of them versus Sutton and Garcelle, you know, and it was, but now it's been fractured to a point to where, now for Kyle to say, "Oh, I feel safe with you, Garcelle." I mean, like, you didn't care about Garcelle 2 seasons ago.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, we're already starting the fakery. But I will say that with PK, if it was his decision to leave, I can see her being like, you know, Dorit being like, you know, I'm not keeping these secrets anymore. I'm not protecting your tail anymore. You left me with these 2 kids in this house, and you're partying every night at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and I gotta keep a brave face for. I don't think she's being unhinged. I think she's just being emotional about the whole thing, because it's a travesty.
Well,
You
they're
know.
on the verge of losing that home, because there's definitely been at
Yep.
least one payment they've missed.
At least 4.
Others are claiming there's 4. I've personally not found the documents for that yet, but they've definitely missed one big payment. And, you know, if this continues, they're going to get booted out.
Well, he's already gone, and I'm like, why he just abandoned? He has 2 kids at that house. I'm like, you just want to jump up and
Well, his name's not even on that property. It's Dorit's name only, because he's had so many financial issues in both the UK and the US. No sort of organization or bank would give him a loan to buy a property. And if you actually look at their arrangement of how they bought the property, it's basically these companies that have bought it, and then like they'll make the money back when the property sells at some point. So they've not done a traditional mortgage of how you buy a property.
You
It's
know
a
what?
really weird arrangement.
You know, Freddie, I forgot that you were the official, what is it, the go-to person of, I forgot about that. Because when you're saying all the stuff like, oh yeah, that's true. So now that you're in America, are you afraid that they're going to track you down and try to give you some legal papers? Or they're like, oh, he's in town, I want to get him? Because you definitely were the person who, yeah, you come on, everybody laughing. I will give it to Freddie. He know these people. He definitely know this now. PK and them, definitely. He definitely know what you talking about with them. So
Well,
go ahead.
I've not ripped anyone off in the United States,
No, I
unlike
know.
PK, so I don't know. I don't think I would be in trouble.
No, not from victims. I'm saying from these people that you've exposed, that they want to say, "Oh, he's in town. Let me go serve him some papers," because I want to. You know, when you're in the UK, they can't really reach you with papers. You know, the PK people. So you know.
No, I mean they can find me, but I mean. At
What
the
you
end of the
gonna
day,
do?
everything I say, there's documentation for, there's evidence. This isn't made up. There are lawsuits about there that I have documents about. So
Yeah, they very spiteful. You know, we know that people on these shows.
look, that they could try, but there would be no case for it because there are court documents that are out there in the public domain that show this information. And if it's public information, it's not slander, so you can't sue someone for slander when there's information that's already about there that's in official court documents.
Of course. You know, but I was going to say too. Now I forgot how much you knew about these people. So, do you think that this divorce is real?
Yeah, I do actually.
Mhm.
I mean, the separation I think is real. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
He's accepted that he can't afford to keep Dorit in the lifestyle she wants to be in. And I think she's just so over him. I actually think PK repulses Dorit.
But they have children. Oh my
But
God.
they stayed together. She stayed with them. She stayed with him through the teeth. She got his teeth fixed. She stayed with him through. I mean, like,
I
and it's
think
kind of.
I think they're both such social climbers, though.
Oh.
I think she saw PK as a good opportunity to get into that Hollywood and meet these Boy George types and other people that have sort of, you know, and sort of hustle that way. I mean, that's basically what, because he was originally, when she first joined the show, PK was Dorit's manager. And then in the second or third season, she got different management.
So you basically think she married him just so she can get to the lifestyle and change her accent?
I think PK made Dorit believe that he had a lot more money than he actually does. And
But that reminds me of Portia and of course Simon. It's giving me that
yeah,
energy.
I think it is I think it could be similar to that. Yes.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is that when PK was talking to Mauricio, he was saying that Dorit was his shadow, and that they were Bonnie and Clyde, and then all of a sudden they had children, and things changed, and I'm like, that's still not a reason for you to just leave your family. You have to work. You figure it out.
But
You don't just leave your family because your wife she likes certain types of plates. Okay, you say, hey, we can't afford these plates, but so we're going to have to do something else. Okay, unless you're going to make some more money, I can't buy these plates. You don't just leave your family.
It was very
And
what I would say to that is that I think PK maybe gives up on marriages quicker than other people. Like, allegedly, he did cheat on his first wife. So,
Oh, wow. Jeez.
I think he is the type, and Dorit sort of said it, when there's issues, he runs away. He doesn't look at how can we address this situation? How can we compromise and make these things better?
One thing I would say too, and now that everybody's saying it, did we forget the part where she said to Erika at the beginning that he was basically an alcoholic, that he drunk a lot. She said when he drinks, we have these crazy fights.
Definitely. When he did this, you can tell he definitely was drinking when he was doing all those "see you next Tuesday" of the week posts, and that he was spending ages going after Dana Wilkie and other people on social
That
media.
surprised me. That really surprised me because I don't follow him on social media. So when she said on the show, he's looking very relaxed with Mauricio chilling. But when she said he get angry and all that, and I have like we can't have it in front of my kids. I'm like, wait a minute, that was never shown on the show. I never saw them have a violent argument or him being sloppy drunk. So I
And
was
I
like,
mean,
Well,
I
I
know
remember.
Bravo were not happy with it, but I think what broke the camel's back is when he did a sort of like a "See you next Tuesday" post about Sutton, and that was when
wow. Okay.
Bravo and Evolution, the production company, said like, "All right, enough's enough. You cannot do this again." And he
Mm,
stopped because he knew it was sort of putting Dorit's job in jeopardy.
Well, I
I
know
didn't.
that Dana Wilkie today or was last night, she was saying she felt that PK had been drunk or drinking when I guess she was receiving messages from him as well.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying.
Wow.
so she said he definitely was drinking. So, but for him, he himself said that he has been 4 months sober. So for him to be sober, he had to have realized that there's an issue here,
Hmm.
and I got to fix it. But I don't like the fact that it's like, oh, I become sober now. Um, I realized I don't want to be married to you anymore. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
Right.
basically
that's not
saying I
how
was
it
happy with
works.
you when I was a drunk, and now I'm sober. I
Right.
don't
Now,
like
yeah,
you.
it's like you made a vow, and just like when Dorit was talking to Kyle, saying, hey, when even though that's a different situation, she was saying, hey, if you're mad at your friends, you tell your friend what the problem is, and if you're real friends, you actually try to, work it out or whatever. If you're real friends, your husband should be like your best friend.
Hmm.
So it's like, um, if you become sober, you're becoming more healthier person. You should be a better person for your family. You don't leave the family.
Yeah.
You know.
But he's done it before. He
And you
basically left his wife and his kids from his first
You don't
marriage to
gotta
move
do
to
it
New
again.
York and
He
like
so he was
and get
he
with Rachel Utichel, who
wow.
allegedly.
So do
So
you
I mean, he's what I'm saying is that this isn't round one for him. He has a record of doing this allegedly.
so
So
I'm
I
gonna ask
do.
I'm gonna ask Brittany.
and I this is why I say that he's not the type that would work as hard as at a marriage than other people in this
based on his
world.
history. But let
But
me
I
ask
would
you
just I would
I'm
just think
gonna
like
wait
with
one second.
him being
No,
older.
wait, classy lady, 1 second. Hey,
Sorry.
Marcus. No, you're okay, sweetheart. Do you want to sound off?
Yes, I think Dorit and PK have been separated before last season.
mm,
Exactly. That's
Agreed.
not
We
new.
agree.
So
And
I don't think it's that
Yeah.
he's just leaving his family. They've been done for a while. I
wow.
especially him living at the hotel, even Jennifer Tilly said on the after show, "Oh, he's been there for a long time. Everyone in town knows."
Mm-mm.
I think they came back together to film last season. And then before this season, production said, "Okay, you have to be honest. He did not move out of that house a week before filming started."
No, that was Mauricio. They said Mauricio moved out 2 weeks
No,
before.
Dorit also said that PK had moved out a week before they started filming too.
Oh, I
They
didn't
both
catch
said the
that.
same line, which didn't make sense.
Mm-mm.
I
And
think he been at that hotel since before last season, and they told her she had to be honest. And I think the issue is I also didn't like how Dorit kept saying, "Oh, he's an alcoholic," when at the reunion she said he had been sober for months. I think PK had to be drunk to deal with Dorit, and once he got sober, and he just couldn't do it. And I think money is part of it. I don't think it's a scam though. I just think I think the robbery was a scam,
Mm.
and Dorit still spending money they don't have. And that was one of their major issues last season, which he brought up at their therapy session, that she's high maintenance and she's spending all this money. So he has to keep working in London, and she's complaining that he keeps working. So I think money's a part of it, but I think it's more so that she's still spending money they don't have.
I mean, she does have her own,
Yeah.
and you can tell too though with her clothing, she doesn't wear all these labels anymore. Even though it's kind of passe at this point, people don't wear lots of labels anymore. But I just feel like, and I do agree that they probably were separated before the season. Um, I can see that. I just am like, I just don't understand the. I just want. I guess I feel like this is the only Kyle thing I want to say. I want them to be open and honest and say what. Why are you guys? What's going on with your relationships? I can't stand Kyle and Mauricio's relationship right now because I feel like it's a whole facade. They probably had an open marriage for like 10 years. I don't know because I don't. Whatever's going on with them, they're not talking about it correctly. I feel like Kathy knows more than she's saying, but she's like, I told you he no good or something. I don't know, but I just feel like that I don't know if those two, Kyle and Dorit fighting is supposed to be to distract us from what's going on with their marriages or what, um, but I can understand Dorit being fed up with like I've been covering for you and I've been doing this for you and I was with you when you were chubbier and now you're getting all swelt and nice teeth and getting your sober and now you leave me and it's like and I was down for you during all the hard times so I that hurts. It hurts a lot. That's why I was saying that smoking scene, I was like, I could feel her pain during that smoking scene because my ex husband he told me he loved me, went to go to the dry cleaners, never came back, and I'm like had no
Oh,
idea that
so
there was a
sorry.
problem. He
Yeah.
never said, that's why when she said, "Well, we're fine, everything's fine," I can understand why she may think things are fine, but
I
he
think
might be scheming and be like, "Hey, he's not fine." I don't
right.
know. I don't
I
know.
will say this. I am so sorry that happened to you and you
Yeah,
did
I'm sorry
not
to hear
deserve
that.
it. I am so sorry. But I think that you are um adding things to Dorit that isn't there because you're such a good person. Like I think that you're projecting how
Myself
you
onto her.
yourself onto the situation, and I am so sorry that happened to you, but I think that Dorit and PK, I think I think Dorit knows who PK is, and I also think
Mhm.
PK knows who Dorit is. And I think they're both in on the scheme and the scam. I think they're both grifters. Like he said, she was the Bonnie to his Clyde. Like he literally
Mhm.
said it. They're a couple of criminals. So
Mm.
because you have such a good heart and because that guy was an idiot and what he did to you, I think you are applying that logic and emotion and compassion to a situation that doesn't deserve it.
Mm.
That's possible. I might be projecting
Which is
because
fine. We all do
I
it.
was feeling terrible during the whole thing. I was just like, oh,
Yeah,
I know how
but
that
again,
feels.
I think Dorit's a liar. You know what I mean? I think she's in on the schemes and the scams, and I think
Yeah.
she might be tired of the schemes and the scams. She might be ready to level up and get a man with some real money,
And
but she
that and, and
Yeah.
that and I
and
believe that's yeah. I
and
was
that's
gonna say that's my next. Right,
like,
okay.
I don't believe that you have PTSD. This is all a joke because I think in his mind, he's like, you knew that the robbery was fake. You knew it was for insurance money. So why are you acting like you have PTSD? That's the
What
real reason why I think he was so dismissive of it. But again, that's my opinion. Don't come at me, Dorit and PK. You
Come on
can't.
now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to that. I don't care,
Uh,
and PK's blocked me. But I think this
Uh
is
oh.
why Dorit's getting so close to Bozoma because of the fact that she's got all these connections with, the top CEOs in America who are worth billions.
And that was the question I wanted to ask you earlier to both Candy and to Freddie was that
yeah.
now that this show has been taped months ago, of course, and we've seen it play out now. Candy, this episode of your live stream is wonderful. I'm getting so much information to really enjoy the season because I didn't know these different Instagrams, all this kind of stuff, and Fred is adding a lot of stuff. But I was going to ask you, have we heard of her dating or him dating currently? You know, because now that they're getting divorced, do we know if they're dating any other people right now?
We've not been given names of anyone. They're not. Neither of them, from what we're aware of, are exclusive with anyone as per se.
I believe on Watch What Happens Live, Dorit said they're not getting divorced.
She
Oh,
might be saying that for
She
now.
didn't say they weren't getting divorced. She said divorce is not a topic of conversation. It's not a conversation. But he lives in an apartment and they haven't told their children. Again, because I think the whole separation, I think they both know who each other are. And I think the real reason why for the separation, I think something legal is coming, or they think something legal is coming, and this is going to give them some type of cover. I think that's the real crux of it, because I think if not, then they would just keep doing what they're doing, scheming and scamming, living separate lives, coming together, whatever. Like we saw it with Tom Girardi and Erika Girardi. You know, the moment they knew that Tom was going to be indicted, that the feds were coming, that he was not going to be able to get away with it, all of a sudden she's like, he's horrible. He's cheating on me. He's so mean. He's blah, blah, blah. But 2 seconds before, he was the greatest person in the world. They had such a great marriage. He was funding her whole life.
Yeah.
She's still crying about him to this day. She was visiting him in the old folks home, like all this stuff going on. We've seen this happen time and time again. When the couple who have been scheming and scamming feel like something is coming for them, all of a sudden they're separated. They're trying to separate assets. Because they want to protect the woman. They want to protect their assets. They want to give plausible deniability. And that's what I think the core is what's going on. Like we said, they're not paying their mortgage. There have been public allegations that they did insurance fraud. Garcelle brought it to the show. Dorit won't even look at Garcelle anymore. She's so mad at her. So it's out there in the domain, and they are public figures. And we've seen this happen again, time and time again with these reality stars. They're running all these scams, big scams, and they end up going to jail.
Well, what I would say about the PK thing, if there is a big lawsuit that's coming up, but because he's British and he's not a US citizen, so doesn't have a US passport, if it's really bad, the United States government or the state of California can revoke his green card, which means he'd be kicked out of the US and would not be able to live probably in another state. So, I mean, that maybe they're thinking that could be a possibility.
Yeah, but I think that
he's definitely skating on thin ice with the feds over there, with all the legal stuff he has had going on, I would assume.
Candy, you made a good point, because again, you blow my mind, because then again that adds another puzzle piece to me. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this conversation. I watched it pretty fast, and you, Fred, and Classy Lady, and I can't see the person. It's just all adding everything. I love everybody's commentary. But your point about possible doing this now to protect protect themselves, PK and Dorit. So then maybe that's the puzzle piece for me, is that was the reason why she went to Erika first? There was other people on the cast, and then Erika, being knowing, she said, well, don't ask me for advice. Again, the episode was filled with so many breadcrumbs, and now talking to you, I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. She went to her first.
No, I think Erika knows that PK's so shady, she does not want to be involved in anything else to implicate her, because she's already, in deep trouble legally. And then to add PK's dodgy stuff into the mix is not something Erika's in the position to, afford to have, both financially and when it comes to these court cases that are still open.
Okay.
I think she went to Erika first, because out of all of the women on the show, I think her and Erika, Dorit, not their friendship, but I think Dorit has the most authentic relationship with Erika, because again, I don't think she ever liked Kyle. And I think behind Kyle's back, Erika, Dorit, and Lisa Rinna talked about her like a dog. It's obvious. I don't think anybody on that cast takes Kyle seriously. You know,
I agree.
nobody does. You know, she's such an unserious person. She's always crying and running around and being weird. Nobody
With that
takes
bloody whiny voice.
that whiny voice. Nobody takes Cal seriously. But I do think that Lisa Rinna, Dorit, and Erika Jane, I do think they have a real friendship. I think they sit around, they talk about everybody, they, you know, they plant seeds or whatever. So I think the reason why Dorit went to Erika is because I think that out of all the women, she has the most real friendship with her. And I think, you know, Erika's been in the same situation, fraudulent, you know, stage separations, this, that, and the third. Of course, she would go to her because she would be more sympathetic. And then also, you know, Dorit's beefing with Kyle. So she's not going to go to Kyle because she can finally treat Kyle the way she's always wanted to treat Kyle, which is with disdain and resentment and an attitude, because she never liked her. Go back and watch and like really watch how these women look at each other, the glances they give, what's not actually being said. Energetically, she's never liked her.
Okay.
I agree with that, and I think it's funny that you say that ironically, Candy, because
and that's what I'm saying, and that's why I'm like, Dorit, like, shut up and miss me with all of this performative stuff. Just be honest and be like, Kyle, I never liked you. I used you for a spot on the show, and now I get to tell you how I really feel about you.
But interestingly, though, I think it does show because
it's historic. Yeah, go ahead, Freddie.
No, I think you're right on that, because ironically, the other day, Dorit, Erika, Lisa Rinna, and Diana Jenkins were all hanging out the other day. So I think they're very much a crew of friends.
Exactly.
And Kyle wasn't a part of it.
That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. The full Fox 5 used Kyle. They used her. They were not her real friend. They used Kyle because she was a producer favorite. She had the clout and she had the cover, but they used her. That's why they don't really like her, because I think they feel like we're hotter than you, we're smarter than you, we bring the drama, we create the show, but yet we have to bow down to you when we think you're pretty much a clown. Like, that's what I think the real dynamic is. The real friends were Lisa, Erika, and Dorit. And I think they use Diana Jenkins because she has money, and for as much money as Diana Jenkins has, she's also a pick-me. That's why she's following Lisa Rinna around like a little puppy dog, because money does not buy you self-esteem, okay?
I was wondering, I was like, why would Diana want to hang out with them? That's what I was thinking.
Well, because she's a vile individual.
Yeah, the only person that I think actually likes Kyle is Teddy. I think that's actually a true friendship, even though she's definitely a dog. But I think underneath all of that, I think that they actually like each other. All the other women, they don't like Kyle. They don't.
Yeah, Teddy and Kyle have what I would call sort of this very unhealthy, obsessive friendship. So much so that Edwin thought that Teddy was having an affair with Kyle rather than the horse trainer guy, Simon.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Teddy definitely, yeah. Teddy and Kyle, they get on. Rinna, Erika, Dorit were all using her. They used Diana Jenkins because she's basically their banker. She's basically the wallet for them to go on nice holidays and fly on private jets.
So you know what, Candy, I'm gonna say that you're right about the Kyle situation, but I'm gonna say I still can't stand her. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Well, I was gonna ask, do you think that like Kyle is because this whole Teddy story, I still feel like Teddy's still thirsty to get back on the show, and I'm wondering is this whole infidelity stuff, and it kind of almost like I feel like Kyle's like coaching her through this or something like that. Trying to.
It won't happen. It won't happen.
I hope not, because
the
I
view
feel like
is
she's fake.
it's not there. People do not like Teddy, and I think Bravo have figured that out. Kyle's trying everything she can, but they're moving on. They're finding new, younger, fresher people to be part of this cast, and Teddy the Nat, I'm afraid, is not part of that.
And Teddy claims she doesn't want to come back, but if they called her tomorrow, she would say yes.
Come on now. How do you know that's right?
Patty's lying. Girl, bye. Miss me with all this
Yeah.
Patty.
She
I
said on her podcast that she does not want to come back, and she only appeared last season because her good friend Kyle asked her to come, which we
Mhm.
all know is a lie. If they
Right.
called her tomorrow and said,
thank
Teddy,
you.
we'll give you your diamond back, she
Thank
would
you.
come.
Thank you. Yes, she would.
That's why I say like all this affair stuff. I mean, nobody cares about Teddy enough for to like she put that out there. I mean, like nobody's checking for who's Teddy going out with. So someone, I'm feeling like she's trying to drum up some type of what publicity or something to get her name out or whatever. Because I'm like this doesn't make it. I believe that it's possible that it happened, but I'm just saying it just doesn't seem authentic. It just seems like a stunt, I guess, to me. Or I don't know. I still don't like Teddy. I still think she's a gnat.
I
Yeah,
So
think it
no, Teddy,
happened.
Teddy is definitely the net. I feel a little bit different about her cheating situation. I think that's real. I think she really was cheating with the horse trainer and everything came out. And the only reason why I think it's real and not a stunt is because like the timing. I think if this would have happened before they started filming and she still had a chance to get a contract, I would be like, oh, maybe this is fishy. But it happened like post filming, no contract. She's out here looking crazy, filing from divorce from Edwin. He's out here looking crazy. I think she's just messy as hell. Versus what happened in the OC with Alexis and John Jansen. That is a stunt. That was just nothing but let's get, Alexis and Orange and go after
true.
Shannon and be thirsty as hell. That timing was 100% let's go public so Alexis can still get a contract. That's
Yeah.
why she was able to film. Teddy, I just think her life is messy as hell. I think Edwin's been cheating. I think she's been cheating. And I think they're just messy. And as messy as they are, it's still boring. And I still don't care. And I still don't want her back. So be out there,
Yeah.
cheating with a married man who has a pregnant girlfriend on the side. We still don't want you back. I just think she's messy as hell. And
Yeah, I think it's real because
Edwin
even
also
on
had
the show, she
his
said they were
own.
having problems
Yep. And then also I
before
think
that.
before that, and it's been confirmed that he I'll say allegedly had an affair. And then don't forget his firm was also being sued for fraud, left, right, and center. And also don't forget his security system or firm was allegedly the people who put in the security systems for Kyle and Dorit, who both conveniently had their robberies and their insurance claims, and he conveniently was the same exact security person. So
Right.
you know what I mean? There's a lot of scheming, there's a lot of scams, there's a lot of stuff. Teddy, I just think she's messy.
But you know
Yeah.
what? Again, this was absolutely really, really wonderful. I had to drop down, but this is great. I mean, now I'm gonna watch this season, and I have more little nuggets from all this, research that you did, that Fred did, that Marcus and Class. I don't follow their social media, so I really just go based on the show when it comes to this program. So to hear about the the fraud and and him being drunk, that was a shocker. That was a shocker. So yeah, I'm watching this season, but this is great. This was a really good conversation. I'm gonna drop down, and hope everybody have a good night.
Oh, you too, sweetheart. So good to see you. And
Okay.
I think this is going to be a great season.
I think so too.
I really do.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, Mel.
Cool. Right. Is my thing working? Yep, it is. Cool.
Anybody else
So,
want to sound off? Go ahead.
I mean, I just I was happy with the season, and then Mo. I mean, he really just seems happy that he's moved out now and that he's no longer with Kyle. With them though, they're not lying about the timeline of him moving out because he traveled so much anyway. They've got like a 10,000 square foot house, so he lived in one side of the house and Kyle lived in another. So that's how they did it. And then around that time they were filming, Mauricio did buy a penthouse in West Hollywood. So it makes sense that he moved out of their Encino house to move to this West Hollywood penthouse he'd bought. So yeah, which I mean is definite bachelor pad.
1000%. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just feel like I don't know. I feel like she keeps blaming the media, about the relationship, or she's blaming the media about mortgage. I mean, it's just like what just say what's really going on in your family right now. Okay, you've been here for 14 years. Just say if it are like, because I think I saw the next 7 minutes of the next episode they put it out, and I think Sutton you won't see the answer though, but Sutton go ahead and says, I think you should just go ahead and pull the cord on this, or I think you should basically go ahead and file. So I think Sutton even knows more than what's been shown on the show, that I'm thinking they've been separated or open marriage or whatever for some years probably.
Mhm.
And I remember last season or season before, Erika was saying in one of her confessionals that the couple that you think that are doing the best are the ones that are not. And at that time, Mauricio and Kyle were the standard. They were 25 years together, have kids, happy, let's go to the agency, all that stuff. And I was just like, I don't know. It just seems like there's more. He's on Dancing with the Stars, dating the dancer all of a sudden. It just seems really
He
weird.
hooked up. He hooked up with her allegedly, but they weren't dating.
Okay, but it just seems really like you want to you're telling us half truths or half stuff, or I'd rather Mo just go ahead and just say how he feels about, like how PK said how he felt about Dorit. At least he just said something. Mo, I would like for Mo just to say something. Just what's going on? Like what is really going on with y'all? That's all I want to know.
I think they've had an open marriage for
Yeah.
years.
Mhm.
I think Mo has been able to do whatever he wants for years, and they can't say that now because they've been lying about it for 14 seasons.
I
So they
agree.
can't come out and say, oh, well, we've had an open relationship. And so I think it just got to the point where Kyle no longer wants to pretend anymore. And so I think they've been having these issues. I just think the timeline of the issues did not start last season, like Kyle is trying to frame it. Even last season, when she was bringing up these things, Mo was looking confused at her because it's like, oh, we've been doing this for years. So
And
why
the
is it
other
an issue
thing,
now?
and
So I just think
yeah,
Kyle no longer wants to play that role. And so she just created it her storyline. But even Kathy said when she was getting ready for the reunion last year, she said, "Oh yeah, it's been going this way for at least 3 or 4 years now." And then she was like, "Oops, I shouldn't have said that." So I think they know what's going on, and Kyle just no longer wanted to pretend.
but can I just say, Kyle did confess in one of her confessionals last year. She said there were a lot of things that I let slide. And I think I agree with you. I think Kyle was happy for the majority of the marriage to let Mauricio, when he made all his money, to do what he wanted, providing that she was kept in the lifestyle she wanted. He bought her the house that she wanted. But I think her whole attitude towards how their marriage operated changed after her best friend committed the s
Unaliving.
unaliving.
Exactly.
And I think
Yeah.
that because that affected Kyle so much, and that she didn't know that the friend was clearly depressed and had these issues, I think it really made Kyle change her perspective on life. And she went, well, why am I accepting this? Why am I allowing
And that's
Mo
why she
to
got sober.
cheat on me allegedly and do what he
Mhm.
wants? And I think that's what caused the issues. And Mo was like, well, you've been happy to do this for like the past 25 years. I'm not going to change now. And so I think so, yeah, that's what I think's happened.
But I think even if Mo changed, I still think they would be where they are today. I just think once that happened, I do agree with that. That once that happened with her friend, her perspective changed. And at this point, she even said Mo is growing the agency and he's still going to parties. And at this point, they're millionaires. They don't have to do that.
Yeah.
So I think even if Mo was like, okay,
Well, he admitted that he's not going to change his how he works, and traveling all the he's still going to
no,
travel all the time.
I'm not talking about the business side. He's gonna still be doing that. I'm talking about like as far as like if he was cheating, whatever.
Yeah,
I
but it's
think even
happening
if
at
he
those
said he wasn't
parties. It's
going to,
happening but it's happening when he's traveling and at those parties. That's what I'm saying. It's work, but he's then also doing other stuff. That's where
Yeah.
that happens.
but I'm saying even if that part stopped, like the cheating part stopped, I still think they would be where they are.
Oh, like when Alison Dubois said he will never emotionally fulfill you once the kids get older. Like she won't be emotionally fulfilled by him. Is that what you mean? Like does it matter
Yes,
if he?
and I just think at that point in her life, I think even if he said, "Okay, I'm no longer going to cheat. We're in this." I think Kyle it was just done. That even if he said, "Okay, I'm going to stay committed to you," I don't think it would have changed. Because even when she was like, "Oh, we need to go to therapy. We need to go to therapy," he agreed to go to therapy, and he was like, "Okay, I think we're working through this. I think we're doing better." And Kyle was still like, "Yeah, I don't know." Like it just seemed like she was already done. So even if that part changed, I think it wouldn't have changed the situation. I think she had already made up her mind before that.
I think she's regretting it. I think she wants Mauricio back because I think her world blew up when her friend, unfortunately passed away and everything. And I think that was very traumatic. And coupled with that, probably some sort of like midlife crisis. So she's blowing up her life. She's angry. She's acting out. She's doing the Morgan Wade stuff. She's getting tattoos. She's losing a ton of weight. She's going sober. She's doing all of these very chaotic things that people usually do when they're in crisis and when they are suffering from a lot of trauma. I think that now that she's probably had some time and clarity and some therapy and some healing, I think that she wants her husband back, but I still think that she wants her marriage to be different and better, if that makes sense. Like, I think that she was just acting out. I think she was just really angry. So it's like a teenager, when a teenager's acting out, that's kind of how she was acting out. So he's like, oh, therapy's good. She's like, no, it's not. You think so? It's all attention seeking behavior. She wants his attention. She wants him to pursue her. She wants him to be there for her and prioritize her. I think that if Mauricio changed and really prioritized her and was there for her, I 100% think she would take him back. I don't
So
think she actually wants the demise of her marriage.
But I don't see Mo going back now.
I
Why
think he
would he?
will. I think ultimately they will get back together. It might take
well,
some time, but I think ultimately they will.
well, I think it might just be it's cheaper to keep her kind of situation because they've been married for so long. There's so many assets and money that it may just be a more
And no prenup.
fiscally, yeah, no prenup. That it may just be like this is easier if we just quote unquote stay together, but or just stay like open. But what I think is interesting is why she suddenly backtracking on the whole bisexual thing all of a sudden, like as if that wasn't a thing, or
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just
I
like,
think
She's
why are you changing the if
because
you don't want to do it no more, that's
I
fine,
think
but just
I
don't
think
act
she's
like it was someone else's
right.
fault.
She's changing her tune because, like I said, I think that she has gotten therapy. I think she is in her healing process, and now she's coming out on the other side of that situation. Now she's kind of like, okay, well, I don't really need to pretend that I'm a lesbian for attention anymore. You know, like I think she's healing from what happened to her in her crisis, and now I think she's seeing things a little bit more clearly. So she's trying to clean up that whole Morgan situation. I'm not going to say her name on camera. We are not together. Blah 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 blah. She's trying to clean that all up because again, the whole Morgan thing, I think that was just for attention. Storyline, sure, but also attention. She's acting out. She's getting the tattoos. She's being mean to Mauricio. She's being mean to Mauricio's mom. She had attitude with her at the party. Like she's acting out because she's in crisis. You know, I don't know if you ever been in crisis or know someone who's been in crisis, but her behavior was pretty much textbook of how people respond to trauma.
I think she can't accept that Mauricio's now moved on and is dating that Nikita woman who used to date Larry Ellison. And
that's why I'm saying I don't see Mo coming back.
But now he's got the fit young model girlfriend who will go out to all the parties and all of that type of stuff. And I think she knows it's over, but can't really accept it now. Even though she was so pro it.
But if they had an open marriage before, do you think it was okay? Like, you know how some people say you do your thing, just respect me. Like I don't know it, and you keep your person, you know, hidden from, you know, so I don't look bad. And so the fact that he's now he's being all open with it. Are you saying that's the problem?
Well, no, I think when he was with Kyle, he wasn't bringing these women to the home. It was when he was on these work trips that allegedly they were happening. But now they've separated. He now has an actual girlfriend that is a lot younger. And he is out and open with her. He's got what he wants now and doesn't have to lie about it.
I think the new will wear off. And I say 1 to 2 years, they'll ultimately be back together, I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Well, I will say I don't see them getting divorced anytime soon. Even Kyle said in an interview recently that money is one of the reasons why they have not done it. So I can see them just staying married and living their own separate lives and not getting a divorce. Yeah, maybe in a year or two they figure it out. But as for now, I don't see Mo coming back. He has no reason to. He has a younger girlfriend. She's going to go to these events with him. She's going to turn a blind eye if he wants to sleep around. So I see him like, I've been stuck with you for 30 years. I'm going to have my fun. Then maybe. But I don't know.
I think he's going to ride it out. He's going to enjoy the freedom of doing what he wants to do without being called a cheater. But I think for these two, just my gut, I think they're going to be back together in about a couple of years. I think it might take some time. I think he's going to write it out. He's going to have fun to the rock until the wheels fall off. I think he's also going through his own, you know, midlife crisis. He's been working out, losing weight, dating the model, getting the bachelor pad, blah, 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 blah. I think once he calms down a little bit and the new of all this wears off, I think they'll be back together.
But I think what's going to happen is that, I mean,
unless he meets someone that he really wants to like marry and be with, then I think they would, something would happen. But unless that, because this like little model girl, he's having fun. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
It's just a toy.
It's a toy. He's going to be a boy and he's going to play. He's going to, you know, make Kyle suffer for, you know, how dare she do this to him and blah, 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 blah. But I think down the line, he's going to come back to his senses. And I think she will have calmed down a lot. And I think they'll probably just find their way back to each other eventually. But I don't
I think he's going to make her sweat it out because not only did she do this to him, she did this to him publicly on camera for a whole season of he's not fulfilling me. I want a divorce. This, like, when we've been playing this game for 25 years, suddenly you want to switch it up. I think he's going to make her sweat it out. And now we're hearing she's mad he has a girlfriend after she told him to go get a girlfriend. And
because
he's free.
So it's like, you know, when you're in a relationship with someone and or no, not a relationship. You're in like a situationship and like you want the commitment. So, but instead of being like, oh my God, let's have a commitment, you're like, oh no, like go do you, like whatever, like I'm good. And you like pick fights, but you really want the person, like, don't talk to me, don't text me. But what you mean is like, you better text me and call me and you better beg for me back. That's what Kyle was doing. It was very high school, very, immature teenager, but she was rebelling and blowing up her life. All the stuff being like, you can date, you can do what you want, I'm gonna do what I want. She wanted her husband to want her. She
But
Fair
wanted
enough,
Mo
but
was
you
doing
can't
that.
give
Even
him
after she was saying he could date,
you
he
can't
was
give him
publicly saying,
permission.
no, I want my wife. Like, I
But
want
he
our
wasn't.
family.
No, he
And
was.
she
No,
was
he
still
wasn't
saying
really.
no.
No, he was saying, I'm still gonna do. He was like, I'm still gonna rock the way I'm rocking. He said, no, I have 100 agencies I want to open up. I need to travel. I need to do this, that, and the third. Mauricio was still doing Mauricio. Where Kyle wanted a big gesture. She wanted him to prioritize her. She wanted him to fight for her. She wanted him to, really show up for her and give her attention and time and love. Because, like she
Your
said,
partner.
yeah,
I don't think he'll ever do that, to be honest. He is all about him and what he wants to do.
Exactly. That's why he didn't really fight for her. That's why he moved out. That's why he's dating a 30-year-old. He didn't really fight. He did performative stuff. Okay, Kyle, sure, let's do that. But what did Mauricio actually do in a meaningful way to save his marriage? And don't say, oh, he went to therapy. Sure, okay.
No, it's a good point.
No,
Nothing.
he didn't do anything. He left her. He left her Porsche at the house. Now she's so it's like so. That's what I'm saying. He just leave. I can't stand it. People just leaving their family to go do what you want to do. I'm like, you have children.
I mean, she doesn't even know how to use the TV or the sound system in the house.
I kind of felt that because I there were some things I didn't know either how to do. After about 10, 15 years, you're like you have your role, he has his role, and you just like, but anyway, enough about me. I don't like the fact that the Porsche's still in the house and you just want to go and have fun with PK and Beverly Hills Hotel, whatever, and there's still kids. You still have a family here to take care of. It's not just about you. I don't know.
But I
Well, I
think
think
these
PK
people
and
think
Dorit are
that
going to be back together. Even if it's for financial reasons. I think people forget Dorit does not have all that money. She's been sued multiple times with Beverly Beach and her not paying them. What happened to that wedding dress company? She probably wasn't paying them either. She was sued last year for that at-home nurse after her plastic surgery. They weren't paying her. So I think because of money, they will probably find their way back together, even if it's just for that, till they can pay everything off. Um,
She has two little kids.
but I
They
see them
little
getting back
kids.
together sooner.
But I think the other thing with Mo and Kyle is that because Mauricio's got a lot of lawsuits on him at the moment, it would be suspicious and complicated if they were to get divorced now.
Well, yeah, and I didn't know that his show got canceled.
Yeah, it did.
Canceled. Yep.
And PK's show got
And you've got a
canceled
question.
too.
And sorry, you've got to question why it got cancelled because actually the views were very good for that Netflix show internationally.
I don't know. Honestly, I was surprised it got canceled. I for sure thought they would come back for a third season. I felt that Netflix wasn't necessarily the right home for it because, to be honest, the show felt like two different shows. It felt like it was trying to be a real estate show, but then it also felt very young, like Siesta Keys or The Hills or something with the girls. It felt like two different shows in one. And his daughters, even though they're like in their 20s, they're like our age and everything, they seem like they're 15 years old. They skew so young that like having them be hypersexualized seemed really weird.
Well, and it made them look like that they were work shy and useless and that they only had their job because their dad owned the company.
And then they were trying to like sleep with like the other people at the office. Like it was just weird and bizarre. was bizarre.
Really, I never really watched the show, so I didn't know that about
I
the
never
Yeah.
watched
daughter.
it.
And then Farah, the oldest one, was a bit like Kyle, and that her fiance guy didn't really want her. Okay.
Yeah.
And I also feel like with all those type of shows on Netflix, your show has to be special. And it wasn't. And I think once we got the storyline about, he gave us more info about their separation than Kyle did. After that, no one really cared.
That part. Because the thing is, I think people tuned in to get the scoop on Kyle and Mauricio on buying Beverly Hills, but that was it. Because it only matters and it only really is juicy in the context of the other women in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Do you know what I mean? Like the Kyle and Mauricio's marital woes isn't juicy on buying Beverly Hills. People just went literally for the information, but then it's juicy on like the Real Housewives because all of the other women give it context. Whereas in buying
100%.
Beverly Hills, it's just like, oh, these two people are having marital problems and their children are crying, and this is a
I
real.
see that, but the second season did also get very good views, and that it was easily making a profit in what they were spending on the cost. So I do feel that Netflix, they know that something's coming out and they don't want to be associated with it, is my theory.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's that. I think it's more so, like I said, they have several shows like that on Netflix. Your show has to be special. And it wasn't. And so I think it was just easier if they having budget cuts. It's easier to cut a show like that than cut the other ones who have been on longer.
I mean, and Bravo's now trying to do it with selling Salt Lake City, so it's like it's becoming like you said, it's not like a new format. Like you have to keep everybody's attention. But like I said, I I didn't watch the show myself.
And Bravo could have also probably played a part and said, hey, you didn't give us nothing all season, and now your husband is giving the deets on his show. We
Yeah,
finna
I
shut all
heard
this
about
down,
that.
and you need to come back
I
and
I
share
did
what's
hear
really
that.
going on.
But that's down to Kyle and her relationship. That has nothing to do with Netflix or
Yeah,
Mauricio.
yeah. Bravo might be the producers might be upset, like, hey, you didn't spill anything here, and then this other channel now you giving all the ratings and juice on this show. You didn't tell us anything. I would be upset as a producer and say like you kept your mouth shut here, but now you're gonna go on this show and spill everything. And you've
But
been with us for
supposedly,
14
what they
years.
argue is that they separated. That the separation happened near the end that Beverly Hills
Yeah,
was
it was a timing.
airing, and then Mauricio started filming the Buying Beverly Hills like a week or two after they finished finished filming Beverly Hills. So
Yeah,
that's why we
Mm.
got more context and more info on Buying Beverly Hills than we did on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
yeah, because we even
Oh.
had cameras. Remember, it was a timing issue for filming, and so that's why they got more. Because I think if it hadn't been leaked, they wouldn't have even shown it on Buying Beverly Hills. Because remember, Kyle wasn't even on the show. Season 1, she did not appear on the show except for in a FaceTime when Farrah got engaged. But only on season 2 did she actually appear in person because of their separation being leaked and them having to talk about it. But season 1, she didn't appear in person at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I still feel like they could have gave something, because even the first episode of last season, Kyle was like, yeah, we're having a rough time. Why are you having a rough time? Like, she could have
Yeah.
gave something.
No, of course. And that's why
And
people have such a problem with Kyle, because she doesn't give anything, but she expects everybody else to give.
But she's still
So,
not giving anything.
She
yeah.
She's still
exactly.
not really told us the reason why.
Yeah.
That's what that was my whole thing. This whole conversation, and you said it in 2 seconds. I would. She has not said why. I want to know why. What happened?
we're not going to know. She's still not going to say.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Because
she's
I'm
already
not
cried
really
how many
happy.
times? Episode one.
and you know
She's gonna
what?
cry her way through the season and not tell
Remember
us.
remember that little part where she said to three you say I have crocodile tears, or maybe that was in the next 7 minutes, or when they because it's online now with the next 7 minutes of that fight, um where I guess she says that Dorit said that she fake cries or something like that. I I believe it. I think that she's an actress as well, and she just seems to cry on cue. Okay, and then she can stop it on cue and snap at somebody. I don't know. I just I, I feel like there's just a lot of smoke and mirrors in that whole relationship there, and I feel like it's not fair that everybody else has to come clean, as she always says, be open and honest, be open and honest, and but we don't know what's going on in her family.
Yeah. Anyway,
I
I've got
could
to
see this
go for
being
dinner.
Kyle's last
See
season.
you. Bye.
Oh, Friday, have
Oh
such a
yeah, bye,
good dinner.
Freddy
Love
says.
you.
Bye.
Bye. See you
Bye,
soon.
Bye.
Bye.
sweetheart.
Friday.
Bye. Bye, classy lady. Adam, Tay Tay, you guys want to sound off?
I can do. I just literally watched the episode just about 20 minutes ago. And
What are your thoughts?
my thoughts are I am for the Takedown Kyle season. I'm glad that we don't just have Sutton, but we have not all the times Dorit going out of her way. I mean, the problem is, as we all know, is that Kyle is the chameleon narcissist. Like, she always acts all innocent and says that she's the sweetest person alive type of attitude when we all know she's not. And the the other thing, I I was watching one of your videos that you posted the other day, and
Okay.
you reminded me of when she was like to Lisa Vanderpump, oh, we all have stuff going on in our life, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and just that real depth of narcissist behavior. And to me, I think hypothetically, if Lisa Vanderpump never quit the show, as much as unfortunately she did, I don't think Kyle would have ever been able to hold it out for this long, this innocent chameleon. I think by the problem we had with this show is that we had uh the problematic ex-banker's wife, aka Diana from 12, and then last season we had this deadweight Anne Marie. And I kind of think someone like Bozoma is someone who can give off that energy that I'm not going to bow down to you, or I'm not going to let you run my life. Like, if you want me seriously to be part of this show, reduction, and Kyle, you better know that I'm my own individual self. I'm not going to be tailored to what your commands are, and to be we all you that. I mean, put it this way, we don't get it in the UK, but I saw clips online on Instagram. There was you could tell that production wanted this Anne Marie last season to be the puppet, because on the after show she was just sitting by herself. Like, that's how much production did not give a damn about her. And but with this current episode premiere, I was happy that it was an extended episode. Um, I if I hate I don't really like her because I think her estranged husband, as we could say, uh, isn't someone who I'd ever want to go into business with his track record. But with Dorit, I'm glad she's putting it out on the table with Kyle. I think Kyle is someone who loves to just toss people to the side. I mean, not even Lisa Renner is on the Kyle train anymore. Since she got fired, she's pretty much hanging out with Erika and somehow Dorit, just by themselves as a trio, and Kyle's not involved. And I feel like she,
Well, it's because they never liked Kyle, and that's what I've been saying this entire
yeah,
live.
exactly.
They
But my
never
point,
liked Kyle,
but
ever.
the point is, someone like Lisa Rinna though played that chameleon thing of Kyle's, like, let me make myself pretend to like her to stick on the show. That's why we took down Lisa Vanderpump in season 9, because we didn't like that Lisa Vanderpump was someone who also held power, but we're going to go so far to per- persevere and try to destroy her during her brother's unfortunate passing. But she and Kyle, um, and as much as Kyle again wants to play all innocent with that, we all know she was part of the plan. And to me, for her, that Lisa has given up on her. And put it this way, I highly doubt that um, what's her name, Crystal Kong Minkoff, has anything to do with Kyle anymore. You know, like I don't think anyone really. To me, I remember in our past in the past lives when we were discussing this, you know, Kyle's ride to fame is that I have a famous niece and my half sister is is a prominent person in Beverly Hills thanks to marrying into a dynasty, and uh, and to what I'm like wanting to hear is kind of this, like, I don't know if you watched it yet, but as I told you, this Bozoma lady, she has no problem laying things out on the table. She will spell it out. She's so transparent, and to me, someone who is a bit different in the sense coming from corporate America, they they've had some real ruthless people that they faced in this life, and Kyle Richards is nothing to them.
I think, maybe unpopular opinion, but I think Kyle wanted LVP gone, but at the same time she didn't. I think she was forced to go along with the plan because
Oh
the
no.
three that were really in charge, it had already started rolling. Because she used LVP as her shield. And once LVP was gone, everyone started noticing, hey, Kyle is kind of doing a lot of the things she accused LVP of doing. And I think Kyle knew that. The same with Kathy. Kyle was part of that plan to get Kathy down. The issue was Erika and Rinna went to the tabloids and started spreading it. And I don't think Kyle wanted them to do that. I think she just wanted them to shame her on TV. And then that's why at the reunion, she couldn't even. That's why Garcelle was like, why aren't you mad at Rinna? Why aren't you saying you're mad at Rinna for what she did? Kyle couldn't do that because she was part of it. I just think Rinna and Erika took it to a level Kyle didn't want them to. But they're the ones who are really in charge. But Kyle has the title of being in charge. And I think that's why they never really liked her, because they're the ones really running things, but Kyle has always been seen as the person in charge.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was saying earlier about how I think like Lisa Rinna and Erika and Dorit, I think they have a real friendship and they probably talk a lot of crap about Kyle. And that's where I think Dorit's vitriol is coming from. I think she resents the fact that she's had to be Kyle's yes person when her, Lisa, Erika, they all think that, they're the ones who really make the show. They're the ones who bring the drama. They're the ones who are stirring the pot, blah, 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 blah. But yet they have to bow down to Kyle. And I think they all think that they're better than Kyle and they kind of think she's a clown. So I think that Dorit doesn't actually care about the loss of their friendship. I think she's just using that as an excuse to be mean to Kyle because she never really liked her in the first place.
Well, I think she doesn't care about the loss of the friendship as long as she stays on the show. Because we all know that Kyle had the power because she got, what's her name, the Carson woman, fired in 5 seconds, literally.
Exactly.
I understand what you were saying about the Kathy and Erika taking it too far. That I do understand, but I do not buy that she never wanted to take down Lisa. Kyle has always put on this portrayal that this was the show that I orchestrated. This was the show that I got all these people to film for season 1. But the reality is that she wasn't the A star, A player. The A player was Lisa Vanderpump, hence the spin-off, hence the likability. If you actually go on the Instagram comments or go on what was Twitter, now X, people don't vibe with her. They just know that she, is someone who's related to someone who's part of a dynasty. That is the reality of who Kyle Richards is. And to me, she's just, it's kind of the same kind of problem is with a lot of these shows, is that you have people who call the shots, but they're not really someone who gives substance. As Candy spelt it out, what on earth does Kyle ever give? Nothing. She's plain. At the end of the day, she's a plain person.
No, I think she wanted LVP gone so she could be the star, but I don't think she would have done it herself. I think once Rinna, because I honestly, and I've been saying this for years, I don't think LVP leaked that story about Puppygate and all that. I think Rinna did
Oh
it.
no, of course not. Of course
Of
I
not.
course,
think Rinna did
of
it,
course
and it
not.
was just easy to pin it on LVP.
Exactly.
And that's not. I think she wanted LVP gone. I don't think she would have done it herself. I think once that ball started rolling, she went with it. But I bet she regrets doing it now because everyone kind of sees Kyle for what she is, and she's been able to hide behind LVP for years. And so I think that was a misstep on her part. And unfortunately, LVP has already said she would not come back while Kyle is there.
Well,
So she will have no one.
rightfully so. I mean, at the end of the day, I I think, as much as she may have not caused conflict as an individual, but it's quite actually finite when you look at the timeline of Kyle isn't someone who individually goes after people, at least successfully, because if you remember, Camille Grammer shut her down in 5 seconds. Like that, at the end of the day, Kyle is someone who, as I said, has that chameleon nature. She puts on this, I'm, a nice, brave person who's kind and nothing but selfless. But at the end of the day, put it this way: if she was someone like, I don't know, someone similar to Adrian Malouf or Lisa Vanderpump and just had money, and she wasn't part of a dynasty, she wouldn't have been on this show for this long. She would have been gone because, to me, she's someone who is plain. I mean, it's like, as Candy said to me in the past when we kind of debated on this topic. It's like saying that there's all these speculations out there how Khloe Kardashian isn't Robert Kardashian's actual daughter, but because she's been part of this kind of Kardashian thing from the get-go, if even if she isn't biologically part of that family, she has been portrayed as being part of this family for so long. It's like to say, oh, she's someone saying she's not a real Kardashian or whatever. As much as people you can say that, it doesn't hold kind of that stature to it, if that makes sense, because that's kind of the reality with Kyle, is that she, regardless of what happens to her, she's related to someone who's married into a dynasty and isn't independent.
Yeah, she is backing, and that gives her, power and cover. Yeah.
I mean, Andy did say Kyle will be there until Kyle no longer wants to be there. So,
Exactly. Kyle knows that it's really up to her. She knows that it's her decision. I think the producers were pissed at her and they kind of put some pressure on her with the whole Morgan Wade BS storyline, which is why now she's like, I'm not going to say her name. It's over. It's done. But I think at the end of the day, Kyle still has a lot of power, maybe not as much power in the past, but she's definitely still a power player. So,
And I still don't think they would have done anything to her regardless. I
yeah.
don't think they put that much pressure on her. I think they're probably like, Kyle, come on,
And plus,
give us something.
And plus, she brings Kathy Hilton, you know, and Kathy Hilton's a fan favorite. The Hiltons are advertisers for NBC Universal. It goes bigger than just the show, you know. It's really, at the end of the day, it's an industry. These are corporations, and they're creating products. The TV show is a product that we, you know, buy into, and that's how they make their money. They're selling a product to us. So the Hiltons also have tons of brands that I'm sure advertise with NBC Universal. So they're not going to piss Kathy off, are they? Because that's advertising money. Because it all comes down to money at the end of the day.
Well, that was kind of the point that she kind of, you know, when she left in season 13, and she said, you know, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to ever go back to this show. I think both the network and the production company was like, oh, we messed up here. We messed up here big time. You know, if we want 2 + 2 to equal 4, we need to actually fix up. And because she was livid with what they did to her in season 12. So the fact that Kathy's back on the screen, they're not going to do anything that could recycle that energy that was given to her. And as you said, the brand deals, you know, they're not going to play games. It's industry.
Yeah, it all boils down to money. You know, the reason why Kyle is so protected is because, you know, the show started out supposedly as like the three sisters, you know, Hilton, Kathy, and Kim. And then, you know, Hilton is attached to that. You know, Kathy and Kyle can beef all they want, but at the end of the day, they're still sisters. So Kathy is going to have her back when push comes to shove. So think about it. The executives aren't thinking like, oh my God, you know, this person's my fan favorite. The executives is basically saying who's going to bring in the most money. They're not 100%. Thinking about fan favorites, they're thinking about money, you know? So for them, it's a business decision. And sometimes even when we talk about the shows, I'm like, well, if I'm a producer, this is how I'm thinking about the show versus if I'm a viewer, this is how I'm experiencing the show. You know, because the viewer gets to experience the show, the producer has to produce the show.
100%.
Yeah.
What was the debate that you were having with Freddie about the Netflix? What was the debate that you were having with Freddie earlier about the Netflix show? You were talking about how, you know, the Kyle of it all was kind of, you know, not exciting, and what was that? Because I missed that.
Yeah, so Freddie and I were both saying that, like, you know, Buying Beverly Hills got canceled, and we were kind of like, we were surprised. Like, I was surprised it got canceled. I thought it was going to be picked up again, but they said it was due to poor ratings. Who knows what the real reason is? But I think season 2 got a ratings boost because people were, you know, they were tuning in to get the tea about Kyle and Mauricio, but they wouldn't stick around because that tea is only juicy in context of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So it's only juicy in context of the other women, of Dorit, of Garcelle, of Sutton, of all in that world. It's not that juicy by itself individually on a show about Mauricio's real estate company. So I think they got a ratings boost for people to come and get the information, but it wasn't enough to sustain that audience because people weren't coming back because they didn't care about the rest of the show.
Makes sense. I myself, just being transparent, I actually liked the show. I actually found it quite entertaining. I wouldn't say it's the best reality show of young adults that I've ever seen in my life, but it wasn't a dead show. I actually found it more enjoyable and easier to watch than the torture of Chriselle. I mean, with Selling Sunset, I'm sorry, ever since they got rid of Christine, that show's been a mess, and that
Mm-hmm.
and if you want me to even take that Emma girl seriously, I can't. The Chriselle ass
Yeah,
kisser, like, I'm sorry, like she could say that if if something went real left, she would still defend Chriselle. That's how much of an ass kisser that girl is. And I mean, real
totally.
question: does anyone miss Crystal Kongminko?
I do. I felt like she got the short end of the stick, especially the last season when they cut some of her scenes out. But she was really bringing it. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't miss her, and I think they had already decided to fire her after season 12. After the whole dark situation, I think they were done with her. And I think had Lisa not been fired, and I think had Diana not been fired, and had Kathy not quit, I think she would have been fired then. Because the fact that they were just editing out all her scenes last season just showed that they were going to fire her when the season was over. So I think she had a good season last season. However, it was 3 seasons too late. And I think they were already planning on getting rid of her. And so they just cut all her scenes to be like, hey, you're boring. But it's more than just cutting her scenes, because even the other women were saying Crystal does not speak up, she's quiet, she needs to do more. So it wasn't just editing. When even like Sutton and Garcelle, the two people who were closer to her, were telling her on camera that she needed to do more. So it wasn't just the edit. I just think they were already tired of her, and they were just like, okay, well, when the season's over, we're just gonna get rid of you.
Yep.
Because
Ugh.
Andy was pissed when it came to that dark situation, especially when her story kept changing. I
Mm-hmm.
think they were like, okay,
And she
not
just
only were
dragged
they
it
like
out.
mad,
And she
she
dragged
was,
it out too long. She dragged it out way too long.
and it's like, it's dangerous. Like, you can't do stuff like that on TV and then be like, oh, well, that's how I felt. Because that's not what you said. So I just think they're like, okay, we're gonna get rid of her.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take, Candy?
I agree. I think Crystal lost the plot with the whole Sutton dark thing and being like, is this a safe space for me with these women? Like, girl, calm down. You're on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Chill. It's not that deep or serious. I think that they gave her a bad edit. I think the producers just weren't feeling her. I think that Crystal would have done better if she came in a lot lighter and more fun. If she gave the Crystal personality that she gives on her Twitter account and her Instagram account and her TikTok account, if she came with that Crystal, I think she would probably still be on the show. Because I do think Crystal is a vibe and she's fun and she's cool, but she only is that way in silos that are not actually on the show. So you could be the coolest person in the world, but if you're flat on camera, then I'm not going to keep you on camera. So I think she did herself a disservice with going after Sutton, the whole dark stuff. Is this a safe space? And I think after that, there was just like kind of no coming back for her from that. And I just think that production just wasn't feeling it. And I agree. I think they knew that she was going to be cut out, but they didn't want to lose 3 people at once.
And
Yeah,
I also feel like she came
I
in for
agree.
Sutton
Wait,
because of Teddy. Because
listen,
Crystal was friends with Teddy.
could have
And
been another mouthpiece situation.
that's because Teddy even said when she got fired that she's the one who got Crystal hired. She had
Mm.
been begging them to get on Crystal, and then when they hired Crystal, they fired her. I
Yeah, but
think Crystal
that's the
came in.
Nat's fault though of her own. The Nat didn't do anything to save herself. I
Yeah.
mean, quite frankly, the Nat should have been a one and done. She should have been like Anne Marie.
I will
Yeah,
say
I
this,
think
guys. Did you guys know? My mind was blown when I found this out that Crystal Khan Minkov's husband, Rob, is Rebecca Minkoff's ex-husband from The Real Housewives of New York.
What?
Mind
No,
blown. Yes,
you're not.
Rob
You're not.
Minkoff was married to Rebecca Minkoff. That was her first husband. They divorced. Rob Minkoff then married Crystal Kong Minkoff. Isn't that crazy?
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, isn't that nuts? I was like, wait, what?
I knew they had some type of relation, but I didn't really look into it. So, but I'm not surprised if they were married.
I was. Have you seen Rob Minkoff? Well, I guess he has a lot of money, so I guess you're there.
I mean, that was the thing I was gonna. Well, that's crazy, but I'm not even watching the fake New York. I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah,
I
it's really
saw,
bad.
I saw that
Yeah, it
Bravo were
sucks.
trying so hard with the mid-season trailer, but I'm not amused. I thought it was a sleeping pill. Like
Yeah.
you know that it is just horrible, to put it sharply.
I
But
saw
to
the
me,
first 2 episodes, and that was it.
Yeah.
but to me with Crystal, I mean, I'm not even trying to be shady here because, as Candy knows, I'm never shady. But but I liked her house more than I liked her. Put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And if I like your house more than I like you as a person, then that says it all to me. Like to me, like her, I I thought, you know what, in the third season, you should have given that energy in the first season, but I just didn't like her in her first season or her second one. And it wasn't even just what she did to Sutton, but she just wasn't someone who was a straight shooter. Like all the stories changed, not just the Sutton story, but stories about her, and just and to me it was just kind of like, not only were you playing a dangerous card, but you were also at the same time not making any sense. And
Yeah.
I just thought, this is weird. And she claimed that she's built this $100 million company with her brother, and it was just like, I I'm like, what? Why did you only mention this on your last second at the reunion? Like, why didn't you
Because
say this?
she probably didn't want to pay the Bravo 10%. The
But she
Bethany
still met.
the Bethany
She still she. I mean, but she would have at least had some substance to her. I mean, the problem with her is that she played her cards in the wrong order, and
Yeah.
and to me, it just says it all. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it, and you, what I think was a bit of a strange one is, so when Denise Richards parted the show, she saved Dorit's job. So
Mm.
Dorit was never meant to be part of season 11.
Yeah.
And then, not only with that, you had the other problem of Rinna going. And I know Rinna has been controversial and has said a lot of nasty things, but I just thought, when this show doesn't have either of the two Lisas, it's a different vibe. I like Sutton, I like Garcelle, and I like Erika, but when it without the two Lisas, it's just had a different vibe. And I'm glad that some ways at least it's not there, because I like to see Sutton kind of, you know, not have someone try to demean her every second of her life. But I do like, kind of the times Rinna was someone who lit the sparks.
I think Rinna was fired. It wasn't because of her behavior on the show. It was her behavior online. She was very chaotic online at one point. Like when the bots thing happened with Garcelle, she went online and said that she believed Bravo hired the bots to attack them so they would be framed and make them look bad. You can't do that. And so I just think they had gotten tired of her behavior online. I don't think it had anything to do with her behavior on the show. I think they could care less. I think it was other things, and it was also the Kathy situation because Kathy also said she would not come back if Rinna was there. And so other things came into play for Rinna. But also with Crystal, I just found her inauthentic. I think she came into season 11 going after Sutton because she was friends with Teddy and Sutton called Teddy boring. And then even if she did become friends with Sutton, I just couldn't trust it because of how their relationship was season 11. And it was like she was kissing up to the Mean Girls season 11, her first season. So it's like, are you now becoming friends with Sutton and Garcelle because you like them or because the Mean Girls didn't want you? Because she didn't care nothing about Garcelle season 11. And suddenly she wants to be buddy buddy with them, two people she did not care for. So I just didn't find her authentic, even if it is real. It's like she came in bad and it just got worse. And then even when she finally got good, they just no longer cared about her.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
All
I
right,
mean,
guys. Well, final thoughts. Let's start with Marcus, then Adam, then Tay Tay.
I think it's gonna be a good season. I think it's gonna be Kyle's takedown season, even if she comes back next season. Um, I think this is one of the first seasons where everyone is on an equal playing field going into it because Kyle no longer has that power. Um, I do think Sutton is slowly but surely becoming the star of the show. I don't know about Boz yet. I'm getting a ick feeling from her. Um, she came in through Sutton, and now she's real buddy buddy with Dorit. I don't know how to feel about that, but overall, I think it's going to be a good season.
Agreed. Go, Adam.
I was pretty impressed. I would say out of all the recent season premieres, I would say it was the second best. I'd say the best one was when Erika was getting divorced. But with the potential of the show, I mean, I really liked the trailer. I thought it was exciting. I think we've got more to come. As I said, Boast was transparent in Stephen Bartlett's Diary of a CEO, and I think it's just very compared to what's on the other shows. This is going to be times 10. I don't know what your thoughts are on Potomac, but like to me, this is more exciting just from the get go. And one thing I forgot to mention, which I thought was beyond, was what's her name? Camille posted this thing on X. I don't know if you saw it on Instagram because it was on everywhere, and it was she was saying, "Who thinks Beverly Hills has gone too woke?" And one of the people who replied to her tweet was Anne Marie, out of all people.
Oh,
Uh, and she and
not
she
Anne
said
Marie.
and she said, "Hi, love. By woke, do you mean me being character assassinated and sabotaged with my edit, then fired because of my views and belief on biological males?" And and it
Ugh.
and literally like uh, and like I'm surprised that Camille uh like even engaged with Anne Marie, but like I
Yeah.
I don't I don't know, but I expect the show to be by episode 5. I would say we most people, maybe I'm wrong, but I predict by episode 5 at least most people would say this is the best show on Bravo this year.
Yeah, I agree. All the other housewives are kind of lacking. Like, I like Salt Lake City. I'm tired of Bronwyn. Roll Hop to me, I can't. I was gonna do it on Monday, but I was like, I'm only talking about Mia, and I can't waste my life talking about Mia. So like, I couldn't do it. And like OC and the last reunion, yeah, Beverly Hills is it. You know. So we'll see. So Tay, final thoughts, love.
Okay, so overall, I enjoyed the season premiere of Beverly Hills. You know, love scenes and fertility and some Strack. They were a vibe. Bozoma was also a vibe. I loved seeing when Kathy Hilton's extensions fell off. I also love seeing Garcelle and Oliver, which was good, which was pretty cool with me. And on the whole Kyle and Dorit thing, I'm gonna be very neutral on this. On the first episode, I'm Team Dorit because Kyle has been manipulating people for the past several years. After the stuff that she said about Kim with calling an alcoholic, what she said about LVP, and what she said about Denise Richards during the whole Denise and Brandy situation, what she said about Garcelle and Sutton from last season. I think Kyle Richards is getting her karma back. Like she wants to like isolate
Yeah.
everybody against them, and then now it's her turn to be isolated. Now the tables are turned. But
Yep.
I understand your point on the Kyle and Dorit situation. Do I think Dorit is innocent? No, she's not innocent. I think both of them are guilty of what they're doing, and I think both of them messed up. And the reason why, both of them are feuding in the real issue is because their contract is up. Like they need it bad, especially Dorit, since the whole divorce situation. Like
I mean, it's not
he
even the
needs it
divorce
bad.
situation. She just doesn't live a honest life. PK is someone who's not respected by many business people. So, I don't know. One last thing, Candy, before you go.
Yeah.
Just because I want to just just check something about across the Atlantic to see if it is a brand new trend. But Freddie and I were just laughing at this. So is it a normal thing stateside to tell acquaintances about your marriage troubles? Because the way that Dorit was so open to both of them, I could.
I mean, I think if you're kind of like you don't have any friends and you're kind of cringe and someone's talking to you and you just spit everything out, then sure, but not usually. No, not usually.
Because Dorit needs a black friend.
Exactly. Dorit needed a black friend. She needed cover. She needs an ally because I think her only ally this season will be Bozoma. And I think that Erika likes Dorit, but I think that Erika is going to ride more with Garcelle and Sutton, and they don't like Dorit. And I think that Dorit's true ally is only going to be Bozoma. And I'm on the fence with Bozoma. Like, time will tell with her. I like her, but I did not like how she is so up Dorit's butt. It's not even funny. It gives me the ick. And I didn't like how she was kind of shadied about Sutton when Sutton's the one who kind of like allegedly brought her on the show. You know how they do that stuff. But I don't know. I feel like Bozoma might be like a Raquel from Real Housewives of New York. Super interesting, really cool, great backstory, but there's something lacking. There's some type of oomph that's not 100% there.
I'm glad you clarified the show.
I'm on the fence with her.
I'm glad you clarified the show because when you said Raquel, I was thinking like, did you mention Vanderpump Raquel? I was like, oh my
no. Raquel on New York, where it's like super cool person, gorgeous, accomplished, amazing backstory, but there's that thing missing, if that makes sense. And I like Bozoma, I do, but I'm just a bit concerned she's only gonna show up in confessionals and then she's gonna kind of ride with Dorit and not make authentic connections with the other ladies. But we'll see. Time will tell.
I don't know about her because
I hope you're proven wrong because, like, to me,
I hope so too.
Because to me, the odd thing about her, which I must say, was that even though they don't feature much of the UBs in the trailer, with the other additions, like when you had people like Sutton join the show, like she was in the trailer for a long part of it. I mean, all we kind of got from her was Sutton giving her a compliment, which we see now was from this episode.
Well, that was because Sutton was really brought on as a full-time housewife. She filmed the intro and everything. They made her a friend because her ex-husband, which I think he did it
Yeah,
on purpose.
that's my point. She was still a U addition, but she was in the trailer for a large part of it. But Bozoma wasn't really in the trailer. But
That's true.
but anyways, Candy. Sorry I didn't join up sooner, but I'm glad that we were able to touch base.
Yeah, it's okay. It's no problem. I'm munching on some apples. I gotta go eat.
Yes, I can't blame you. I mean, it's well, like it's like 4 p.m. your way, right? So yeah. Anyway, I will see you for the next one, and I will send you anything, and I'll send you anything shady I find, of course.
Absolutely. My DMs are open, guys. They're open.
All right. Much
All
love.
Much love, Adam. Mwah. Much love,
Bye.
Marcus. Mwah. Much love, Tay. Mwah.
Bye,
Shout out.
Kimmy.
Bye, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Shout out to my panel. I had an amazing panel. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Tay. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Mel NYC. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Classy Lady. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Shout out to people in the chat box. Hey, SW, what is up? Let's see. Hey, Darren, what is up? Hey, Aileen, how are you? Hey, Miss Dugan, to you. Hey, Holly. Hey, Sierra Content. Again, if I missed anybody, I apologize, but this was so much fun. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. It is a free and easy way to support me and the channel, and I would really appreciate it. And let me know your thoughts on everything Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Are you watching? I think it's going to be a great season. And whose side are you on? Kyle or Dorit? So with that, you guys, I'll see you next time. I love you. Bye.